It's Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast coming at you. Episode 178.
I don't know why I laugh every time you do it. I think sometimes it scares me. Because I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. It's like, raw, right into it. And I'm like, ah.
Am I too close to the mic? Is that it? All right.
That's what it is. It gets like overmodulated for like that split second. But it's become the norm now. So we almost have to have it. It's like the new all right.
Well,
whether it's 3, 2, or overmodulated.
This is true. Well, having the mic right here has been a tremendous help, I think.
Well,
I'm almost starting to sound as sexy as you with the,
Well, this one, I sometimes because I have it in a weird position now, it should be like dangling right in front of my face, like the black one you've got there.
Right.
But it's to the side, and sometimes I'll lean in like this and start talking or whatever, and then it's all over the place. So, but hey, with 178, I think, you know what? People have gotten used to it by now. They're not going to say, hey, your production suddenly went through the roof.
Right, exactly. Right, and by the time so many people are going to hear this outside of, the patrons, by the time they hear this in the future, the other people, the YouTube crowd and everybody else, it's going to be way too late to complain about it. It's funny because, I don't know, you get the YouTube comments and you hear questions and comments and this and that, and people are on there, and a lot of people are thinking this is the only thing that exists.
Yeah, and then they're wondering why we're talking about Christmas when it's, June. Because it's actually Christmas 2020, I think. We haven't even gotten it, because we're probably just getting to that range now. And that's why I'm going to start releasing them weekly, because otherwise they're going to be too far behind. But we got like a kind of a new following, and again, this is time capsuled for them down the road.
Right. Well, see, that's what we should say too. Hey, and the funny thing is, how many times do we talk about the patrons and Patreon and this and that, and people still don't get it. So I'm just gonna say it now, because people ask even in the comments, and I go, it's here. Yeah. We are on Patreon. If you want to hear this show in real time, months before you're hearing it now, go to the Patreon, patreon.com/explodingheads. We are there. 3 shows a month. All the stuff will be fresh as a baby's ass. It's right out the oven. Boom.
That's the slogan that we put on, if we do a poster, fresh as a baby's ass. I don't know if it's going to work well for promotion material, but imagine that. That's like your bumper sticker, fresh as a baby's ass.
Yeah, we might get canceled
Trump
these days.
24. Sorry.
But that's the funny thing. That's an old school expression. That's something like my grandparents would say, fresh as a baby's ass or something like that. That's old school.
Top of the cock or top of the walk? What? I said top of the walk. I said top of the cock.
Holy cow. I know what you did.
And then top of the wops.
Oh, wops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said walk. I thought you combined top of the mops with cock of the walk.
I think that's what I was doing. That's exactly what I was doing.
I know I'm wise that way. I can pick up on like little,
you pick up on my fuck ups.
I pick up on everybody's fuck ups somehow. Like when people have like a snafu in the brain, somehow I know what they meant to say. I'm really good at that. For some reason, I'm good at snafu. I'm good at picking up when people fuck up. Like when they're trying to express and they say the wrong thing. I can tell that they combine 2 things. I do that a lot. I can also always understand people's writings. Like when people write, and people can't read people's like cursive or whatever else in their handwriting, I can usually make out what they're saying. My biggest problem is, and I've probably said this several times by now, is accents. I have a very difficult problem with. Matter of fact, I'm on this thing now called MB, which is fucking excellent, by the way, except for one thing. So this MB thing ends up costing $12 a month. It's kind of like Plex, but you have to be invited by somebody who's in the know to do it. But basically, they have everything. You name something, they have it. You could cancel everything you own right now. I know I sound like a commercial, but this is what the kid told me, and it's true. I have it now. You can cancel.
It's illegal? Is it like a database of? Okay.
Well, check it though. I mean, the way Plex would be considered illegal, like the way you can leech off somebody's Plex, is the way MB works. Except in this case, there's this guy, and you're gonna love it. The guy's name is Videodrome, and he operates out of a foreign country. I don't know what country where it is legal to do this, right?
The Philippines.
But, I don't know, but he speaks English. I know this, and
Pittsburgh?
So listen to how much he makes. He makes $300,000 a month reportedly just on his people subscribing. So think about how many people are doing this. If everybody, here's what you do: you pay $36 and some change per 3 month, increment. So let's just say $12 a month. How many people paying $12 a month would enable this guy to make 300,000? Do that math and figure it out. But that is how many people are just subscribing. He is an NB. He is Videodrome. He is one guy on NB. You know what I'm saying? So, and you have to get an invite from one of the guys I work with. He's one of the OGs with him. So he told me about it. And he goes, well, I'm going to do this. And this, I'll give him credit. And he's doing this for his family too. He goes, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give it to you for free for the first 3 months. I'm going to pay your first increments. I'm going to pay $36 for you to do it. He goes, if you like, no, he goes, I just want you to try it. I know you're not going to do it unless I do this, because you've told me you've had trouble with this and that and everything else. And sometimes you have streaming issues. And he goes, if there's streaming issues, you're not going to want to spend the money. He goes, I'm going to pay for it. And he goes, I did the same thing with my family, and the spot just opened. You can only have so many invites under your wing. So basically, he put me on his thing. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Yeah. Okay. Fresh as a baby's ass. Okay. So basically he added me on his MB. He spoke to this Videodrome character. He had to let me in. I had to get an IP, not an IP, but I had to get these permissions. It's really weird. Like if you try to do it, you have to sign in with an IP address and some other thing. And at first, until you get a code from this guy, and then when you get the code from this Videodrome guy, I get clearance from him to use the MB. So I can't just leech off him. I have to have like permissions, right? So he knows everybody he's allowing. So he let me in. Now, the first 2 days, I had problems. The movie would play. It would freeze. Now, I've had all this problem. This is going to be a long one. I'm sorry. But I've had a lot of problems with streaming for the past, 3-4 months specifically. Usually, not all the time. I've noticed that Netflix and Prime and Disney seem to not have any glitching issues. Whatever I put on, they play. Now, you look at the other ones. You look at, Plex especially. Plex and Paramount and Hulu and HBO Max and other ones have problems, or I'll be watching it and it'll just freeze. And for a while, I was having such a trouble with Plex watching these 1994 movies. So I decided that I'm paying money for all this stuff, and I have expensive this. I don't think I should be having these problems. So I called Spectrum to come in, and here's what they did. I had a problem once before, and they moved the Wi-Fi in the router below my TV. Where before it was like in a corner of a house someplace else. The closer it is to your TV, the better. So they moved it maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Now, this guy comes here from Spectrum. I said, I just want to make sure that this isn't it, because if not, I have bigger problems. Then I got a problem with my television. So I got to see what's going on here. Or do I need faster internet? I think I have the second fastest. So he looks in, he goes, it shouldn't be this. He goes, He goes, we checked the speed. The internet speed is fine. And he goes, here's what I think your problem is. He goes, and people listening, maybe this could benefit you because I never thought about this. But my router was on the bottom of my entertainment center, if you will. So I have it on the bottom. Then he looks at me and he goes, you see the router down there? It has to pass through that and that to get to the TV. And it was my Blu-ray player and my sound bar. And he goes, those are both electronic devices. He goes, I have a feeling that if we put this router on top of the center behind your soundbar, right, and so nothing is obstructing it between the television and the router, you'll be fine. Sure enough, the guy was right. Oh, wow. That's all it took. Wow. Yeah.
You don't hardwire that? Like if it's close proximity, I just hardwire everything that's in close proximity to my thing, and then I let everything, and then the Wi-Fi is used for everything else, like people's phones and all that.
I never thought about hardwiring anything. I don't know. It's never even
other than the TV in our room, like that one's Wi-Fi. I have no problems except for occasionally an Apple TV Plus. I find that, I don't know if it's the codec they use. Sometimes the streaming on there is iffy too. But I still feel like this is like some sort of pyramid type thing. He gets invited, and then maybe he gets a couple of bucks off his deal if you invite him.
No, I can invite you. I get nothing, because I think when the time comes, there's a few people I would. It's not that this guy's been doing it. This guy's been doing this for 10 years. This guy at work, Larry, he's been fucking watching these movies on MB for 10 fucking years. Oh. And when he was telling me about it first, I'm like, because I tried doing, what do you call it?
Fuck you, Larry.
Yeah. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the fucking What's that thing people use? That thing the Amazon, the Fire Stick. I tried using the Fire Stick and I thought it was way overrated. Again, I was at my aunt's house. It wasn't mine, but like things were taking time to load. Some of the stuff wasn't the best quality, this and that. I was like, nah, I don't want to go down this fucking route. I'm happy with what I have. So now this is kind of what I'm thinking about this MB thing because I'm having trouble with streaming. I'm like, well, we'll see. But he keeps every time I had to work with him side by side a couple of times because he's leaving and he's training me for something. So I'm looking things up and I'm seeing brand new horror movies and I'm like, okay, this movie just dropped today. Let's see if it's on MB. I look it up. Most of the time it's there. And he goes, and here's this. He goes, if something isn't there, he says, you go to the Discord and all you do literally is copy and paste something from IMDb and put it up, and in 3 days it'll fucking be on there. They just added. You just put whatever the fuck you want there. He goes, if something's not there, it's because someone hasn't asked for it. The guy can find anything. I'm like, okay.
Are you developing tumors and stuff like this? Do you know, like, is this Videodrome for real?
Yeah, I know, right? So far, it's so funny because the picture that he has for his icon, he was calling it a she, right, Larry? And he goes, yeah, I think it's a woman because the icon. I go, wait a minute, and I go, give me this fucking thing, because I was looking at Discord. I said, no, that's Debbie Harry from fucking Videodrome. I go, he's obviously a fan of that movie. That's all. Now it makes sense, So
it's a she.
Right? That's what he thought. So
those are her pronouns.
Yeah, pronouns. Hell. So now I get this MB, and like I said, let me go back a bit. The problem I was having when I would turn on my television, right? This is before I moved the thing up to the top. And as soon as I turn my TV on, this never used to happen before. But the last few months when I turned on my TV, it would say Wi-Fi is not connected. And then I would have to sit down and press the info button. Then I would sit down on my couch, and within 2 minutes, everything was fine and Wi-Fi was connected. But it never used to do that. That thing never came up. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, But ever since he put the router up top, I turn my TV on. It's ready to go. It doesn't say Wi-Fi. Is okay? Problem solved. Even Plex has been running fine. Everything's been running fine. Now I get this MB in. I'm all fucking excited. I go to watch my first movie. Fucking 30 or 40 seconds in, it fucking freezes. Okay. Yeah.
Bullshit.
I had to fuck around for like 3 minutes, and then after that, it was fine. Second day, a similar thing. Now I'm playing around with the things and the buffering and this and that, and I'm just trying to fine tune it. That's what he said. He goes, you should be able to figure out and fine tune it to whatever fits your TV best. Sure enough, I lowered the buffering either all the way down or all the way up. I forgot which one. And ever since then, A-okay. The only problem is sometimes when you hit the rewind button, you hit rewind. They got like the 15-second rewind type thing. You hit it twice and it won't play again. So then what you have to do is exit the movie, and then it'll say resume at whatever. Then you press the button, and then it'll pick up where you rewound it to. So there's a little bit of a flaw with the rewind, but if you look at it this way, if I really can cancel everything and just have to spend $12 a month, then it's well worth some small thing like that. But the only other complaint I have is this. Fucking subtitles. And that's how this whole thing got started, with accents. Now I realize it. A lot of the movies.
This is how his mind works, folks. This is how we got here.
Yeah, a lot of the movies because they're new, and you'll notice it on Plex when brand new movies come out a lot. They don't have subtitles available. And you try to download them, and they're just not available. Mm-hmm. So it does happen, and it's okay. But I would say that only like 50% of the stuff on there has subtitles, and I'm addicted to subtitles. So it's like, okay, if I don't have the option, it kind of sucks. So some movies I got to save for Plex. So there was 2 movies I was trying to watch. One was Let the Wrong One In, and there was another one from Dublin. And I tried to watch Let the Wrong One In, and after 10 minutes, I could only
Let the Wrong One In.
Oh, you never heard about this movie?
No.
Yeah, I thought you're up on 2022.
No.
Well, it's a what do you call it? It's a horror comedy vampire thing from Dublin apparently, and I can't understand the accents of the people in Dublin. And then I was like, well, I just cannot watch this fucking movie. Luckily, somebody has it on Plex with subs. Might even be you. It can't be you. You said you don't know what it is. I guess it's not you. But so I would say that some of the movies don't have the subs, and I need them, especially when it's a foreign movie. But aside from that,
a foreign English movie.
Yeah, I know. Any movie that comes from out of this country, out of North America, I will have trouble. Dude, I'm telling you, you watch this movie without subtitles, I don't think you're gonna understand. Maybe you are. I don't know. I gotta interrupt you though. I'm sorry I gotta interrupt you because I was starting this right before we got on. Let's just jump in so we can get into it. I said I'm getting wrenched this morning,
And the wrenching has even taken a turn for the worse since we've started.
Oh,
so long story long, I can't make it too long actually because of this new contingent, new thing that just popped up. We girls had their dance recital last night. It was the first recital. While we had something last year outside at a cottagey area because they wanted it outdoors to worry about COVID. This was back to kind of quote unquote normal, back to where they used to do it in the thing, and everything was great. We got invited out to one of the families was having all the dancers in my girls' company over to their house for a party after. Well, this ended. Like we got to their house at like 11:30, 11:45 last night. So it started there. We said we'll go for like a drink and we'll go home because Christian was with us and whatever. No boys were there, and anyway, we get there, have some pizza and some food, and I had a beer, 2 beer actually. And where I'm going with it is we're sitting there on the couch and Christian's getting bored out of his mind. It's now 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, look, bud, it's way past your bedtime.
What?
Let's get going.
Wow.
Let's get going. I got to get up for this podcast in the morning. We'll go get mom and whatever. Well, my wife's talking with all the moms and whatever. She goes like, look, is it okay? I don't want to leave yet. I'll get a ride home or Uber. Whatever. I'm like, yeah, no problem. No, just remember, I'm podcasting tomorrow. You're on the duty to get the girls to work. She's like, yeah. She gets home at 6 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
Or 5:30 this morning. 5:30 this morning. So she's
hardcore.
fast asleep. There's no way.
Right.
I know there's no way. She goes, oh, yeah, I'm just going to go to sleep for a bit. Yeah, all day. I'm fucked. Meaning I got to go get my daughters to work for 11 o'clock. I don't even know how they're going to do it. One of them slept over at the house, and one of them is here, and both of them work at 11. So one way or the other, I'm wrenched that way. That's going to be about a half hour to 40-minute derailment. And I just got this text. My daughter that's at the sleepover now needs to be picked up so she can come back here to get ready to go to work. So I'm going to leave right now for 10 minutes.
People. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be here waiting.
I apologize. Yeah. 10 minutes. I'll be back.
Yeah. Back. Okay.
I know.
Like, around, right? Everybody.
Fuck, I'm old, man. Wait, this is off the fucking charts here. Let me just give that a little fixerino. Hey, hello. Check. I sound like an asshole, but okay.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm out of breath. I'm like, I should be fine, but I'm not in good shape. And that's a sub story. All these stories are leading to other stories, but I'll let you get back to MB. But just to finish up on the wrenching, wrench 1 done.
Wrench 1 done.
Wrench 2 occurs in almost just shy of an hour, and then we'll reconvene. But ultimately, yes, it was a crazy night. And the reason it's more of a wrenching, and the reason I stumbled over my words a bit earlier is because this is what happened. We get to the party. 1 drink is brought for Carrie as per her request because she was going to drive home, and we expected that we were going to be leaving at about 1:32 at the latest because of the podcast, et cetera, Christian, and we didn't know if he was going to have people to play with, whatever. So long story short, we go with that knowledge. I've got my beers. She's got her 1 drink. We go. I have a beer, and then I'm going to go into another beer, which is fine. But I just said I'm only going to. You're driving, right? We've confirmed. She goes, "Yep." I have the other beer, and then she comes out and she says, "You know what? I've decided I'm going to drink." So then we'll get like an Uber home or whatever like that. And I'm like, you son of a gun. Because I knew we'd be pooched because I knew this was the start. Because when the girls get together, all they want to do is chat. I'm not, and no different than the guys. I don't want to be sexy here. Because the guys were sitting out there, my son bored out of his mind, like I said, and we're just talking about shit. So it was like a grade 8 like dance. The women in the house talking around the kitchen, and the guys outside in the back. And this guy's house is done up to the nines, man. Like it is done up to the nines. I remember we went to their house before, and they said, we're going to gut this backyard and redo it. I turned to my wife, gut what? This backyard is perfect. It's gorgeous. Like for anybody in the world, this backyard would have been fantastic. And they gutted it to make it this. And it's, I mean, I assume it's nicer because I'm going by total memory, but this is like an entertainer's backyard. You walk into it and you're like, holy shit. Like that backyard probably costs more than some people's houses. It's crazy. Wow. And again, it's only because it's like I feel guilty sitting down. I didn't want to because I'm a klutz. I'll spill if there's a bottle or a drink near me, I'm spilling it. or if I'm eating food, it's falling down. So I'm like trying to be like extra like diligent and whatever in between the dick and fart jokes. But anyway, that was just the principle of saying, hey, you're driving, I'm drinking. We established it, and I'm okay.
Right.
Like again, nowadays it's fine. We're 10 minutes. It's like within 10 minutes away, and we knew that we could get Ubers. But I just said I knew this was going to happen. I knew that what would end up happening is that my wife, because my wife, like when she wants to go out and have fun, so be it. But then she's useless the next day. And I'm not saying that in the wrong way. It's just like she's sleeping in. She's going to do her thing. So she's sleeping in and she's doing her thing. So now I'm on duty. So I knew to cut it off. So I had my second beer and I said, done. So I waited like just a half an hour just to make sure, because it was like I said, we were almost there. I guess it was like about 2 hours. So my hefty weight for my height and my whatever, we're fine. So anyway, that's my long wrenching story, which is going to continue throughout this podcast. But to you guys, you won't even notice it because it will be seamlessly edited like nothing ever happened, except for the story.
But you got to have the story. Yeah, they need to know everything that we're going through. And I'll tell you,
this is what it's all about.
That 10 minutes was perfect. I went upstairs. Of course, Francesca threw her laundry in the washing machine yesterday at some point. Asked me, said, hey, do you do your laundry today? And I said, no, I can postpone it till tomorrow morning, whatever. I'm fine. Okay. Of course, she throws a load in. Now I'm thinking, okay, this is 10 minutes to throw a load in. Let me go. Of course, her stuff's still in the washing machine. So I smelled it. It's not moldy yet. It's okay. So I had to pick all her stuff up. And, of course, she can't do 2 loads like a normal person when you have 2 loads where she freaking brings it all in and throws it all in freaking together. So now I don't even know if it's going to dry, right? So I put her stuff in the dryer. Then I had just enough time. I went upstairs, went to the bathroom perfectly. Almost opened up that book, All Right, from Chris, a.k.a. Scott, to sit on the toilet and read. And I said, I don't want to take that long because once I start getting into the book. However, Chris, I did start it. So yesterday I started reading it, and I got through the first chapter, 13 pages, and I'm quite enjoying it so far, and I think it's going to be right up my alley. So there you go. So I went upstairs, just had enough time. I separated my clothes into 4 loads, went to the bathroom, came downstairs, threw a load in, put my coffee back upstairs, reheated the coffee. You got the text here. Come back, and here I am. So it was perfect.
The best thing about having that book in the washroom, too, is now you never have to worry about a mud flap because you can just tear a page out and say, thanks, Chris, and just stick it up in there for good measure.
You're right.
Chris gives the gift that keeps on giving. And then you should send him pictures. Every time you use it, send him a picture of it just for fun.
I won't do that to the book, but here's what I'll do it to. It has one of those, what do you call it? Those covers that go on the side.
The mud flap. The leaf.
See?
What the dust cover, but I mean, I thought there was, dust cover, but
bottom line,
there's another.
They're a fucking pain in the ass is what I've come to realize. When a book doesn't have it, it's so much better. Hey, you're sitting there, it just makes everything awkward. So you know what? I was just going to take it off, and although it's helping me because it doesn't stay in that bathroom. It stays. I bought a fan because my wrench is gone. She's been gone. I'm still getting wrenched every day because of the fucking animals and my daughter. Between them, they're all fucking wrenches. But anyway, she's gone. So as soon as she's out of the picture,
the toolbox.
I go out and I buy a fan. I go to fucking Walmart, and me, you know me, I don't go in stores. I haven't been inside a store in fucking months, but I don't trust ordering a fucking fan online. I got to look at the box. I got to see what it does. I need to know. So I actually, one night, it was like a Saturday at like fucking, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night. And I went into Walmart, and it was pretty desolate. So I was okay. I had my mask on and everything else, and one of the few. So I go in there, and I'm very, and I bought a fan. Spent fucking $30 on this fan. So now, because now I can have a fan because she's not here. So now I get the fan, and it's like a desktop fan. You know what I mean? It's big. It's big enough. It's like it's 10-inch or whatever the fuck it is. Whatever it is, right? But it's like it's not a big box fan. So now I put it on the nightstand next to me. Well, it's too low. So now I got to elevate it. So I go downstairs. I find a Harry Potter book. I find a Harry Potter book. I put that on there. Then I look and I go, well, I need another hardcover. Well, his isn't even, it's Chris, a.k.a. Scott's book, worked perfectly. So I put that on top. So now.
See what he's doing your book, Chris? That's the respect. It's elevated its fan.
Hold on. And I take it off. when I go to the bathroom, which is connected to my bedroom. So it's perfect. Now I don't have to search. I don't leave it in the bathroom. I leave it right there. So now it's serving two purposes. So actually, it's really helping me out in life now. Of course, when the wrench gets back home, I'm not going to be allowed to use the fucking fan anymore, and that's going to suck an ass. But whatever. It's going to be good to have her back just because. But I mean, these fucking, even the fucking this morning, I go to bed late last night, like 1 o'clock, and I'm
so you too, yeah.
Yeah, dude. And all of a sudden I hear fucking barking at 6:30 in the morning, and my Bailey doesn't bark like that for no reason. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I have a fan on and I have earplugs in, and everything still wakes me the fuck up. My daughter, she's literally outside my daughter's room in the hallway, and she doesn't get woken up by it. So now, of course, when I was Frankie's kid, I slept through a fucking atomic bomb, so that's fine. Those were the days I could really sleep. But now she's barking. And I go outside, I see her, and I see Sky, the white cat. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you barking at the cat for? I don't know what was going on, but there was some type of little discrepancy between them, which is very rare for the dog to bark at the cat for any reason, or any of the cats. So I'm like, okay. So now I'm up. Now I see Bailey. Bailey has to get fed twice a day, soft food with pills that she takes. So now I look at the clock, it's 6:30. I'm like, well, I'm going to let her out to go potty just in case, because I don't want her shitting on the floor like she's done a couple times. So now I let her out. I let her go potty. She comes in. I feed her. So as I let her out, yeah, I know. That's the word for her. So now she stops on the deck. She's halfway up, and I think that she got caught on a leash, and it's like caught on a rock or something. She can't get back in the house. So I open the door just a little bit to say, Bailey, come on, or to see, is she stuck? I got to come out and help her. Fucking Oreo runs out in the backyard. Now the cat fucking runs out. Now I'm in my underwear, and I can't run in the backyard. It's 6:30 in the morning. It's still a little chilly. Now I gotta go upstairs, get a fucking robot, do this, do that. These cats are always trying to.
You gotta go get a robot. What did you say?
A robe on.
A robot. I gotta get my robot. Hey, robot, you get him. Dave Z-Bot, you go out there at 6:30 in the morning and you get Oreo.
Oh, I wish, right?
Sure.
So get outside. Bailey wasn't stuck. She was just fucking taking her sweet ass time for some reason. She comes back in. I feed her soft food. I let fucking Oreo back in. And I'm like, please let me get back to sleep. Please. Now it's 6:40. The alarm's set for 8. Please let me be able to get back to bed. I was fucking fuming. Then I lay down, and as I come back in the room, Sky runs into the fucking bedroom. And now he goes into the bathroom, and he starts, meow. Now I'm like, shut up! And then that was the end of it. He didn't do anything after that. But, since my wife's been gone, I have a bathtub in my fucking bathroom. What do you call it? Like one of those... Whatever. I have a fucking bathtub in there, like one of those good ones, like one of those.
Yeah.
What are those fucking like almost like a
jacuzzi style?
Something like
with the jets.
Yeah, the jets. It's a nice round fucking joint, right? So now, Irene has always let the cats come in the room and they get up on the thing and they like to drink from the nozzle. I don't know they must all like to do it because I have 4 cats they all enjoy it. So it must be a cat thing. They like drinking from fucking faucets. I don't know. It's something they're into. So now. She indulges it when they're she turns the fucking thing on and they come and they drink under the thing and they enjoy themselves. Well, she creates fucking monsters like with everything. Now anytime anyone goes in their room, they're in there asking for it. And if you're in the doors closed, you're trying to take a shit, they're outside fucking crying. And then if you let them in, I'm not turning on the water to indulge them. So now they're always trying to get in my
cameras. Set up cameras and make this alive, just like Dave Z, the movie.
Well, listen to what I did. Listen to what I did. Irene left. I said, you know what? Fuck this. I took a fucking towel and I covered.
Drowned both the cats.
I took it. Believe me, there's been times I wanted to drown everyone in this fucking house since she's been gone. So now I took a towel and I fucking put it over the faucet and I took my belt and I fucking wrapped it around. I don't use that bathtub. I don't take baths. So now there's no faucet. There's just a towel and a belt over the thing where the faucet used to be. And I'm thinking that's going to solve the problem. And it has. The kids have stopped coming in there. They come in a little bit, they investigate, and they go on their way. But for whatever reason this morning, after all that hubbub, Sky runs in the thing and he's fucking crying about something. I know what he's crying about. But I did get back to sleep. Thankfully, I slept another fucking hour and change. And it's 5. But holy fuck. And this has been I can't even go. I could talk an hour just about all the fucking stress that I've had in this house since she's been gone.
Life.
Fucking animals and my daughter.
Great.
Dude,
I'm telling you. Well, you're talking about not going anywhere. I'm the other way. It's like everything's ramped right back up. I'm not saying it's like business as usual yet, but it's damn close. Like I've been traveling for work again, almost like on a weekly basis. I've been going somewhere into my territory, like I guess I should be doing. I just haven't been doing because we were locked down. So all that's starting back up. So once you hit an airport or plane, at least in Canada, because I heard in the States they've started pulling that away too. But we still have to wear masks and everything for the whole flights, at least for the immediacy, which is, again, to timestamp this, like I think you were saying earlier, this is June 5th, 2022.
Oh, I got to call my dad. Oh, my gosh, that's right.
Is every his birthday?
June. No. Every June 5th for fucking 20 plus years. Well, since we, June 5th.
I remember this. It was a movie in the summer or something like that, right?
It was Modern Problems. Chevy Chase, Daphne Coleman, this and that. So I have to call my father and play him this fucking thing of June 5th. I might have to do it on the fucking air. So before he beats me to it. Because, it always happens. We always do it. Either I call him and I say it. I try to beat him to the punch because usually he'll do it to me if it goes too low. But the best part is this. He might not know it's June 5th. So when he doesn't know it's the date, you know what I'm saying? Then it takes him by total surprise. And I got to see if I have the fucking thing. I wonder if June 5th is not.
I totally forgot now. I went on that whole tangent of being wrenched, the wrenching as we're calling it, and not knowing. I said it led to another story, but I can't even remember what I was talking about now. So that story is a cliffhanger even for me. I don't even know what I was talking about. But I will say, are you like? There's a show that I binged, which I typically don't do. I think, like I said, Cobra Kai is one of the only shows that I've actually probably gone through and watched in like one sitting or whatnot. But it was it came out. I think it's going to be a one and done. It's Pistol. It's like the story of the Sex Pistols.
Oh, the Sex Pistols. Here's the weird thing. I was at my mother's house on Sunday, and they have like regular TV, so it came on as a commercial, whatever channel they're watching. I'm like, look at this. Then sure enough, I looked on MB the other day, and it was there, so I could watch it on MB.
Okay, well, it's because it's on Disney or the I think it's Star, which is connected to Disney, at least again in Canada. I don't know how they've done it in the States. So I get it through that. And I saw the ad pop up and I'm like, oh, that sounds like right up my alley. Downloaded 3 episodes just to see if I'd like it. And again, sometimes I worry if I get into a show and I think Carrie would like it, that I'll go, I'll stop and I'll wait for her. Watched all 3 episodes on the flight out.
Wow.
And then I'm like, when I got to my hotel, I made sure I downloaded the other 3 episodes. There's only 6 episodes, and watched all 3 on the way home. It was I think it was just that they had me. I was on a flight, so why not?
Sure.
And it was quick and like 6 episodes. I think 5.5 hours, maybe just over 5 hours of show itself.
It's
great.
Danny
I
Boyle.
loved it.
Right.
Yeah, Danny Boyle directed them all. It was great, man. So I'm also a Danny Boyle fan, so maybe that helped. Like very little criticism of it. Again, I don't know the whole story through and through, but I like the acting. The casting was great. The way that they told the story was great as well. And so and then when I got home, I told my wife, I'm like, I'm so sorry, Kara, I watched this show without you. She goes, I'm not the biggest fan of the Sex Pistols. I said, I know you're not.
Right.
Because but I said, but you love those type of shows. I said, you'll like the show. No question.
See, look, it comes up. This is the fucking, that's what the MB looks like. So all the new shows that first come out, they all pop up there. So there's now here's the problem. I got to see if there's I got to see if there's subtitles. Because I'm probably not going to understand half the fucking thing these people say.
Oh, because it's the Queen's English?
Right. It's the accent, mate. I'm saying. Oh, no, joking up his mate. Joking up his mate,
Well, I recommend the show. I mean, again, not horror per se, unless you were the upper crust of society back in, 75 beyond and lived through that and were like, what the hell's happening to society?
Okay, let me ask you this.
Horror adjacent? I'm just kidding. I won't use that term.
Horror adjacent Lloyd.
Yeah. That's
the only adjacent I want to know. It's horror adjacent.
Horror adjacent Lloyd.
Yeah.
What were we going to ask? Sorry.
Okay. Is it just I saw the commercial really quick the other day, and I saw fucking Johnny Rotten, and I think I saw Sid Vicious and maybe Nancy. So what I'm saying is this going to focus basically on more of the Sid and Nancy shit?
No. It's funny. I think that starts. I think that starts in episode 3 or 4. 4, I think. actually Sid Vicious is a secondary character until about that episode.
Okay, so it's Johnny Rotten's story then.
Yeah. Well, no, it's actually not even Johnny Rotten's story. It's the dude that started it when they're the swankers, and they're like, what, the wankers, and or whatever, and then
Glenn Matlock.
Why am I forgetting his name now? Fuck.
Okay.
The guitarist. I forgot.
It came in. That's all right, buddy.
His name totally.
Steve Jones, Paul Cook.
Yeah. Stevie.
Glenn Matlock was the what the fuck was his thing? Either way, drummer. Either way, I just know that he was one of the originals.
Yeah, and though they tell the whole story about, like, when they're on that, they show the starting up the sex shop. It's really how it all sort of unfolded and how they're kind of mass marketed in a way. Like, the guy had a band idea, and then the guy that sort of mentored them had his own agenda, and ultimately took the band the way that they wanted to go. And it's a really, I thought it was really well done. It's based on a book called Lonely Boy.
Yes. Subtitles are there. Yes. Oh, I can watch the fucking.
What makes Dave happy. Yeah. Wholeheartedly recommended. Tell me what you think. I mean, it was, again, I don't feel like you can go wrong with Danny Boyle. He's always, even if he has a disappointing movie or whatever like that, it's always interesting to watch.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
That was, I mean, he was like, when he started with Shallow Grave and Trainspotting, he was like my favorite director of the time, like, or up there. Right. Like, I'd be like Danny Boyle. I want to make sure I see everything that he sees. And I pretty much managed to see everything in the theater that he did, other than that science fiction one, Sunshine or whatever. I saw that later, whatever that science fiction one was. I might be forgetting the title right now. But
speaking of science fiction and directors you like and everything, did you see this new Cronenberg thing?
Yeah, I made a post about it. I was not. Hear me out. I want to be wrong, and I'm gonna check it out. No ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, that goes without saying. I think any horror fan probably is gonna do that. I love reading about it, all the walkouts. I love that shit. I think it's the best marketing. It's like the audience reaction marketing kind of for all the trailers for Paranormal Activity back in the day. It was just a great way to market. Well, there's a ton of walkouts, and that's what they're talking about from his movie because of the way he does it, because it is kind of his back to body horror. However, I did watch the trailer, which you won't do, and I thought the trailer made it look really cheap. I don't know what it was about the trailer. I was like, I wasn't getting a good vibe. And like I said, it's just a trailer, and I really hope I'm wrong, because like I'm going to check it out one way or the other. But something about the trailer just didn't work for me.
Okay.
I know it's kind of weird to say how did the trailer not work for you? But it was the tone, the feeling, the look of the film. I was like, I'm not sure about this. This looks like it was just done on the super low, and even so, I'm gonna give it its chance, of course, and check it out. But something was off.
Okay. Well, honestly, it's pretty good that your expectations it's so much better to go with lower expectations than heightened, because people naturally are gonna be excited, but like even you love Cronenberg and all, and you're like, well, because of that, now you don't know what to expect.
Well,
so
I want to love everything, like I always say. So I don't go in going, fuck this movie, unless it's like, unless we know, like, I guess maybe I would go in with a slight prejudice of if I was told to watch Death Escort Service or something, and I already there's already some sort of background that I'm like, I don't even want to watch this movie. But otherwise, like, typically I try to go in and go, okay, let's, task at hand, let's go. But that movie and Argento's one coming out, I want to enjoy these. I'm hoping they're going to be great, sure. But who knows, right? We'll just go in and check them out. But Men came to the theater here, but it's hard to get. It's just hard to get to the theater right now. Like I said, with everything ramping back up and the schedules right now, I haven't had a chance to go see it. And I want to support all these horror films in the theater, but I haven't been able to lately. Like, X came and went. Men is here now. I don't know if it's already went, but it's here or was here.
See, maybe when Irene comes back, she's gonna come home Saturday. I pick her up Saturday, and then I have to. But I think she leaves in 5 days, so she might not be. She may or may not be up to a movie on Sunday. Maybe if it's playing on Sunday, the three of us could go. I don't know. Which reminds me, I looked at the thing to see if they had a June 5th thing on, if they had that scene on, what do you call it, on YouTube at this point. And what I did find was, what I was talking to you earlier, I found the actual trailer. I found the It's Alive trailer that I was trying to highlight that show.
Yeah. The one that you said had no talking?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. There's talking at the end, but there's no talking throughout. And hold on a second. I think maybe you guys will understand why it's creepy if you just listen to this trailer. Hold on.
It's alive.
Yes, it is.
Don't say it alone. Please. Rated PG.
That's
the best type of trailers, man. Those are the best.
Yeah.
It made you excited to want to see the movie, and that's generally scary. The sound design there, that voice.
And the look. Like, I mean, you didn't see the video, but you've seen it before. It's just fucking, look.
Yeah.
It's the hand and that fucking thing that's spinning around.
That's the craziest part. I love it. We talked about it when we did the movie. That's fucking nuts.
Dude, it's scary shit. It scared the fuck out of me. See, the other one with too much talking, because for years I always remembered, like I said last show, I remembered that thing. And in my memory, of course, I was fucking 2 years old, but my memory of it was just that a thing turning and then it's alive. And that is kind of what that is. I mean, it's just the music and alive and the scream and that, and that's really it. That's fucking scary shit, man.
And especially when you're young, that's why I think. Again, we've talked about it ad nauseum on the show, but that's why those Friday the 13th movies resonated so much with me, because those would come on and they would put them on. I remember, like, when Friday the 13th Part 2 preview came on. I wasn't even into horror movies. I was scared shitless of them, as we discussed. But I remember they play them during, like, Scooby-Doo or after school. At that frame, they would have, like, the teaser, the 15-second ones or whatever.
Right.
But they would play them on commercial breaks, and they would be, during that time, like, I'm shocked that they were allowed to put them on at that time, but
Me too.
I remember that, and I remember growing up with just those trailers, and those were just they resonated. And that was enough to scare me.
Yep, dude. Yes.
And those were even beautifully produced. Like that one, actually, like there's some kind of marketing genius behind that, the one you're talking about there.
Yeah, dude. I'll tell you this though, I don't think cartoons in the States. They showed fucking a horror movie. I think that might have been a Canadian. You guys are more liberal about certain things. Everybody knows that. You guys show nudity on television shows and whatnot. I remember going to the Canadian station at nighttime and seeing stuff. The stuff might have been from the UK, but it was aired on Canadian television, and you would see tits sometimes. And look at that on regular TV. It was a big deal.
I know. It was a big deal. And again, my memory could be clouded, because I would stay at this babysitter's place from after school till my parents got home. But my parents would get home between 5 and 5:30, so it was in that time frame,
right?
That it existed. So,
it could have been on during the People's Court or some shit. I don't know.
Exactly. Judge Wapner.
Yeah.
Always used to offend me. Is his name Wapner?
Yeah.
Are they trying to get away with something there?
Yeah. He wasn't Italian, so I don't think.
No.
So.
It was an Italian.
No, Italian stallion, or is it scallion? So what the fuck was I going to tell you? Okay, do you remember when HBO would only show rated R movies after 8 p.m.?
No, because my dad was always about free to air. Like we had the antenna for the longest time, and then he got cable. And then it still kind of burned him that he had to pay for it, because it was supposed to be free, but you had to pay for the option. The cable, I'm just talking about getting regular TV channels. Because a lot of people, when they said, oh, we got cable, I think, unless I'm wrong, we're thinking that they got specialty channels or HBO. So we never got first choice. I only watched first choice, which is what it was called in Canada for the longest time, or whatever it was back in the day. I only saw that when they had the free previews to try to rope you in.
Okay.
So it was later in life. I like everything else. My dad's like, we can rent it on VHS.
Okay, that's fair. No, and I remember.
I don't know why I give that voice.
Yeah, on VHS. He sounds like, what do you call it? We can rent it on VHS. Oh, who the fuck is that? Jason Robards or something? I don't know, some actor.
It's robot Dave Z.
Yeah, yeah, he's
I
upstairs.
sent that to robot.
You know,
What?
the robot.
I got the
It's
robot.
not a robot,
What?
or is it a robot? It's not a robot. So did you ever see that episode of fucking Twilight Zone? It's not a robot. You know what I'm talking about? Guy lives on the island. Okay, this guy gets cast away.
Ram Man is coming in his pants right now, though. The second Twilight Zone. Ram Man, and there's a few. Christine might be even as well. There's a few of our listeners that when Twilight Zone gets brought up.
Well, rightfully so. Oh, by the way, they have all the Twilight Zones from the 80s and all of them. Fucking everything is on this MB. And they don't have Night Gallery, so I got to submit.
David's campaigning for.
Well, it's only for me.
Did I just call you David?
You did.
The
It
hell?
happens.
David.
People,
so formal.
It's only for me. Nobody can get what I have anyway. I'm going to this guy. Someone else could join MB and get hooked up some other way. That doesn't mean they're going to have what I have.
Well, they're not going to have Videodrome per se.
That's what I'm saying. I shouldn't even say his name. Somebody might fucking run him in. I'm thinking about it. Someone might be listening and say, why the fuck should Dave Z have that? Fuck him or something. We're going to, someone might be my enemy someday that's listening now and say, I'm going to get this Videodrome guy shut the fuck down. And I'm going to report him for something. Anyway, so HBO at night. When HBO first came out, they only showed, and when a rated R movie came on, and I remember all this, they would have, the following features, rated R. It contains scenes of sentences, whatever it is, by the Motion Picture Association of America. Then at the end, they would say, home box office will show this movie only at night. Okay, so that's what they would say. And HBO was the only game in town for a while. Mm-hmm. Then came the Movie Channel and Cinemax. And that was it. Those were the big three. HBO, the Movie Channel, Cinemax. That was it. Showtime and shit came later. Okay? So, but the Movie Channel would show rated R movies any fucking time. Middle of the day. They show it. And Cinemax started showing raunchier shit after like 11. Like those Skinemax movies as they come to be known.
Like that's what you had to do to try to get the edge on your competitor.
Yeah.
City TV, Moses Zeimer, like the Blue movies or anything else. And they knew what they needed to do to get people to watch.
Oh. Fuck yeah, they of course. But the thing is, now HBO, I don't know what year it changed, and they started doing what everybody else is doing, showing rated R movies whenever. I don't know when that changed, but I just remember in the beginning, I almost wish it would have stayed that way. I've become fucking very I don't know, like it's so weird the divide just between like what's happened 30 years ago and now. Like I remember my grandmother in the 80s. I was watching The Love Boat on like a Saturday night. And she'd be there, and there'd be women in bikinis on the fucking out by the pool, and she thought that was too much, coming from her age. You know what I mean? Saying, yeah. Oh, wow, I see you. Wow, they're showing women like that. They shouldn't do this, and this, and you're just a kid. And you know what? At the time, I'm thinking, whatever. You're old. You don't understand. But now, as time's going on, I'm starting to think maybe things did get pushed too far. And I'm a person that doesn't believe in censorship or anything like that at all. But just take a look around. I don't know. Now there's no limits on any fucking thing. And it's like, if something's rated R, fine. Show whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. You know what I mean? But just for it to be willy-nilly on TV the way everything is now, and I got into a real deep discussion yesterday with my daughter and Watson, of all things, about all kinds of stuff that's shown. And I'm not going to get into it because it leads into political ideologies and things, which, of course, everything now does. But
essentially, you have it at your fingertips. It wasn't the joke. What's his face that created the Family Guy? It was in one of his movies, Once Upon a Time in the West or Ted.
MacFarlane?
One of the two. Yeah, Seth MacFarlane. It's like, we're all 2 clicks away from Big Black Cock. Or something along those lines. Again, like as usual, I probably totally butchered the joke, but that's fun. Not my joke. But ultimately, it's true. It's like you're always just 2 clicks away from pornography. Yeah. And you know what? With everything in your hands now and everything else, everything's been pushed to the limit, which is weird because I feel like that is opened up. Yet how we have to interact within society is being really sanitized.
Yep.
Whether it be with the pronoun thing, and again, I'm not trying to be anti-evolution, but we have to be so overly. I don't know, how do I word this not sound like a dick? But ultimately now I'm you don't know what to say because you don't know who you're going to offend anymore.
Well, you shouldn't have to think that. And that what you've just said sums it up. I know you're not a dick. I don't think I'm a dick. Well, you know what I'm saying? So
but
why should
in that regard?
Right, true, not in that regard. But it's like That's fine. I can attest to that. That's fine. Maybe some other ways, but not to offend anybody. But why should we be put in a situation, two normal people, independent thinkers that don't subscribe to ideologies, to say things not from a place of hate, just two people talking, two adults talking, and have to be concerned about how other people are going to react to it. See, that to me is
like the cancel culture does bother me. It does bother me because I don't want, like, I see where it's going. And when they're talking about, like, movies like Gone with the Wind, but even like think about like taking like Eddie Murphy's Delirious.
Oh boy.
Does he have to fucking apologize now, 40 years later, because of the jokes that he cracked during that episode or show? And I think he did even in the 90s. I think kind of apologize as things change, but ultimately it's a time capsule. This proves evolution, but it shouldn't be erased. That does nothing. Erasing shit is worse, in my opinion.
Sure,
it's absolutely worse. So I mean, I get it for someone saying, like, I mean, there was what was his face? I don't know what just happened. It was posted all over Facebook a bit. Yeah, I know you're not on Facebook.
I know,
but nothing. It's been like a couple of seasoned actors. Something happened on a movie set with Frank. I'm fucking up his name. The guy Dracula from 1979.
Frank Langella.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
And he got canceled or something like that on a show. Something happened that was inappropriate or deemed inappropriate, and he was like kind of dumbfounded by it and whatever. And I don't know the ins and outs of that. I'm just using that as one example. I don't know what's going on now, but everything seems like it's being extra sanitized. And I thought it was bad 5 years ago. Like, thank Christ I'm not in the dating game or anything else, because, and if God forbid anything happened, I would be a hermit. I would live by myself and jack off till the cows came home, because I'm not getting involved with anybody. That's it. It's fucking crazy.
It is crazy. And the thing is, it's caused more harm than good, and that's never a good thing, no matter what side things are coming from or what your reasons. People don't seem to realize that. When I was having this discussion just last night with Watson, and I was saying it's almost like, like what swing voters are for like elections and things like that.
The ones that fuck like couples?
Yeah, that too.
I fuck a Democrat and a Republican.
Yeah, swing voters,
the
right.
Republican did me in the ass.
This is what has gotten created now. You have these people here that are always going to be left, and these people here that are always going to be right. Okay? Then you got some swing people in the middle. It's like swing voters. So they're sitting there. Now, you know what, in essence, you're doing? When you are starting, let's say there's a difference between tolerance and love and acceptance. There's three different things. This side here wants you to not only tolerate and accept, but to love, Mrs. Voorhees style, whatever they decide they want to love because they've been mistreated in the past or whatever, which that's fine. Like them, treat them as equal, but they want to love and promote and pimp it to the highest heavens, which if you want to do that, that's so be it. But the thing is, when you start pushing these things too far down everyone's throats that's in the undecided area, right, you are going to push them away from you to the other side and make matters worse. And that is what's happened. And
it just happened in Ontario. We just had an election this week for our new premier. And the lowest voting ever in the history of Ontario.
Sure, and it's good. I'm glad.
Provincial.
I hope it all comes down. I don't think it will, but
I don't know if I need Sex Pistols, Anarchy, but
I'm not necessarily.
But the reality is, I get it, but this is what's happening. Yeah,
should crumble. The system we have now should crumble. It doesn't need to be around.
Yeah.
Retool. I'll retool you.
What movie?
You know what movie? Christmas Vacation.
Oh my God. How did I not get that right off the jump?
I don't know.
I'm gone. I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah. I'm done, Z.
Should I June 5th the old man before he June 5ths me?
June 5th him.
Let's see I don't know. I just pull the movie up and there it is. Hold on. June 5th, partial list of my favorite things. Let's see if it comes up.
What do? Do you just put the quote up, or do you just start talking movie quotes into the phone?
Either I say it or I play it. Say
you
it or
rhyme
play
it every time you do
it.
it?
Oh, there it is. Look at a partial list. It came up. It's just called a partial list. I'm glad I typed the whole thing in there. Hold on a minute here.
June 5th.
See?
Partial list of my favorite things.
Okay, hold on.
June 5th. June 5th.
Only thing is it comes right away as soon as you press the button.
Partial list of my
fuck, hold on.
favorite things.
Yeah. Don't even say hello.
I don't.
Set from my office window.
I don't say hello. That's the gimmick. As soon as
That's
he picks
awesome.
up, it's fucking Danny Coleman saying this.
Fucking glisten.
So hold on. I'm putting the sound up. Then I'm going to call him. All right. Wait a minute.
Hopefully you don't get one of those ads that shoot up every now and then that happens to you.
Oh, I wonder if it's going to play. It might not play
Why not?
because I'm on the phone and I'm going to play.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello. Partial list of my favorite things. Dave. Hello.
June 5th. He can't hear you, Dave.
You there?
Oh, hello? Oh, jeez. June 5th. Partial list of my favorite things.
I can't hear him that well. There
June
he is.
5th. Nothing. I was going to play June 5th for you, and because I'm on the phone with you and I was playing it off of something, it wouldn't play.
It got all screwed up.
Partial
blew
list
it.
of my favorite things. Sunset from my office window.
Yeah. So listen, while you're on the phone, I
Oh,
got
boy.
some things there in that lockup. Some of them belong to either some old games or anything. If you want them, stop by anytime and take a look and see what you want. If not, I'm throwing everything out.
I'll stop by.
Yeah, it don't have to be today, tomorrow. It's only going to be
Tomorrow.
at your convenience. It
Tomorrow.
don't have to be today. It could be next Sunday, next Saturday, because I'm not moving until the 28th.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
How's Miss Francesca?
She's good. She's all right. She's probably sleeping still, actually.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
Make sure you give her a hug and a big kiss from Papa.
I'll do it all. Absolutely. Lots of love for that girl.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
You'll do it
well,
tomorrow.
On your podcast now.
Yeah, I'll do the podcast. I took a quick break and I was going to give you the June 5th and then I pressed play on the thing. I should have played it off the TV.
Well, what to do is put it back on there because somehow it got erased.
What got erased?
So put it on my message. It'll be there for a long time.
What got erased?
Oh, he thinks you left him a voice message.
My message, and I saved it. You know.
Oh, years ago.
Yeah. No. I don't know. When you did it, it's on my voicemail.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I was going to do it right now is what I'm saying. I'd play like I always do.
Well, do it then. Put it on there. How's Irene? She okay?
Yeah, she has her big exam on Monday, and we'll find out more. She's doing good, though. She's doing good.
When will we find out the ultimate goal?
I don't know. I think hopefully by the end of the day, Monday. We'll see.
My fingers are crossed, believe me.
Yeah. Doing all
My
right.
fingers are crossed.
He's the best.
And that's it. So there's $1,995 in that account.
Okay.
Did I tell you this? I'm not going to
Yeah. No worries. I know all about it.
He's the best patron we've got.
What not to do.
Exactly. Okay, do what you got to do. It's there if you need it.
Yeah.
I'll just keep my name in a few dollars every week.
Yeah.
I forget about it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
if
don't
you need
worry.
something, take it out. You know what to do.
Yeah, I'm not touching nothing. Nope. We're okay. We're okay. We don't need to.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. So hopefully she'll get that job and everything will be fine and dandy.
Yes.
My
Absolutely.
favorite term.
I was
Fine and
Friday
dandy.
night with Scott and Mike.
Good. We had a good time. We had a good old time as usual.
Scott, a.k.a. Chris.
And what was Francesca during all this skirmish?
Upstairs doing her thing as usual. You know?
God bless her.
Yeah.
God bless her.
She's
All right, tell her I'll give her a call during the week, but I love you.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah. Love you too, Dad. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, love you. Bye-bye, son.
Okay. Bye, Dad.
The best. He's the best. He's just great. He manages to cover every base, au naturel, and
Yeah.
I just love it. Tamara, I love that.
And I couldn't play it. I couldn't play June 5th. He didn't want to hear it. He was too worried about some other thing.
Yeah,
He's
get it
moving
on the
again.
damn. Get it on his message. He's moving again. Didn't he just move a couple years ago? Or no, you
No.
moved.
Yes, I moved
Before you got your house, yeah.
They're weeding him out of that fucking place. He's the only guy left in his complex, and they're keep charging him more. And now it's only a 6 month. Bottom line is they want to get everybody out of there. They probably want to turn it into condos or do something else. So now he's gonna move into where my uncle owns an apartment complex, and one of the apartments is open. It's his brother, so he's gonna go there and live there for like half the price. Problem is, he's 5 years older than my father. You know what I mean? My father's gonna be 84. So I mean. And here's the thing. When he dies, right, when his brother dies, which I'm assuming is before him, we'll see. But, I mean, if Izzy passes away, guess who gets it all? His no good fucking daughter who lives there, who doesn't do fucking shit, and her fucking son. I'm afraid of how they're going to treat my father when he has to answer to her. So I'm begging him.
Are they not close? You're not close to the cousins?
She's a fucked up person. She's a fucking drug addict, this, that, fucking just no fucking good. Her father is a fucking millionaire who's saved every fucking penny, is the cheapest person in the history of the world, and every fucking thing that he has and everything he sees. This is the man that won't even fucking put the heat on in his own fucking place to fucking save money. And when he dies, this girl's gonna get it all and probably blow through it in a fucking year. Yeah, it's always that way.
One of those. Yeah, exactly. Like parents save. Not that I did the same thing, but my dad was like that. Not that he wouldn't put the heat on, but he was so, like I've told it on the show before, he was so worried about retirement and having enough, and was meticulous about spending and saving and everything like that, and died 1 year into retirement. Right?
Fucking. What a shame. What a fucking, for what, right?
Isn't I know, and all that worry. And again, I don't want to say that, but maybe it has tainted me a bit, where it's like I want to save, and I do save, but probably not to the extent I should, just because, like, I mean, okay, I still want to make sure. Yeah, you never know. I could live till 90, whatever. But I also want to make sure that if I do pass away, there's something for my kids, well, my wife and kids. But the reality is like that. It's just, it's weird, that mentality. For sure. Like, I mean, it's difficult because you're like, there's one argument that you don't want to be the richest person in the cemetery. And the other argument is, at the end of the day, but people are living longer than ever before, for the most part. And, you want to make sure you've got some coin for it.
Well, yeah, but stress is the killer. And if you stress too much about money, like me with COVID, that's what happened to me. I truly believe that the reason I got so fucking sick and had a headache for 2 fucking months straight was because I was immediately fucking worried about money when I got sick. Like, it was an immediate fucking thing. Oh, fuck. What's going to happen if I don't get this money for a month? How am I going to fucking make ends meet for the month? What's going to happen? What am I going to do? And all the phone calls I had to make and juggling, hearing different things from different people, I was fucking literally sweating, fucking talking to these people on the phone. And this is like in the beginning of COVID. I should not have even thought about it at that point, but I couldn't help it.
Well, I mean, I did the same thing when we all went down, like, flashback over 2 years ago when we were shutting down. I'm like, oh, this is going to go longer than 2 weeks. This is going to be with us for a bit. I don't know why we're saying let's reevaluate in 2-3 weeks business wise. I mean, let's reschedule that for 4 weeks down the road, and then it never got rescheduled. All that in that time frame there, as more time went on, I'm like, how fucking long are they going to keep us on the payroll? Because the industry shut down for like there was 1 month that it was like shut down. But they kept us. They kept us all on the payroll and everything else, and did some minor tweaks here and there, but kept everything going. And like I was like, holy shit! It was like we've never been through that before. No matter what your thought process of everything there, it affected everybody.
Yeah.
To whatever degree, and I definitely said I worried because I'm like, what the fuck? What if I get let go? Like, because they need to, they're worried about what's going to happen here.
Right.
Then there would have been anarchy. Not just if I got let go, but if that was like the mandate, like everybody was let go. At some point, there's only so long people could sort of, keep their head above water. And the ones that have that nest egg to do it for a lot longer, that's where the divide comes. And it just becomes more and more problematic in the long run. Anyway, I don't know how we got back on that, but anyway. real life horror, as we always say, just to make sure that it gets, fits into the realm of the show. It does fit in.
It is real life horror. That's true. That's like what they used to do on, they probably still do it. I just don't listen anymore because of the network they're on. But Friday the 13th, that's what they used to do. They would have a fucking real life horror segment and then a horror in the fucking arts, and they do both and go through it. It was a good gimmick, you know what I mean? They talk about something that happened. You had to do research. I mean, very well put together show. That's
funny
good
enough.
stuff.
I haven't listened to that. I used to listen to that show all the time. I haven't listened to that in probably a year, or longer.
You don't listen to many.
I don't listen to many. I really don't.
Right.
Right. Typically right now, I listen to Horror in the House of Salmons and Friday Nightmares, and even Friday Nightmares now. I'm a little bit behind.
Right.
On that.
No,
and Horror in the House of Salmons, I'm behind on their newest episode, for sure.
I'm pretty caught up with them, and I'm caught up with Friday Nightmares now. Everything else, I'm kind of behind in, and there's only so much I listen to though. That's just it. And so it's like there's a lack of fucking good stuff out there, or maybe it's just me. Maybe I just burned myself out on certain things. It's possible, but well, I mean, either way.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you go through phases. I find that all of a sudden then I'll be driving again. When I'm flying, I don't listen to podcasts for whatever reason. But if I'm driving, I do. But if I co-travel, like sometimes we bring we'll go in a team type thing. So like one other person, maybe two. Then there's no way. I'm not it's because everybody's talking in the car, so you're not even being able to concentrate on the actual show. So fuck that.
No.
I could waste my time then. I want to be able to hear and enjoy it. So
of course
it's all relative on the schedule and whatever. But that's life.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another.
I watch movies on planes. I always watch movies on planes.
Usually I watch movies. So I mean, I'm starting to go through the only I've got to watch Jackie Brown and Django Unchained, and then I've rewatched the Tarantino catalog, and again, man, Inglourious Bastards, man, ranks right up near the top.
Right on. That's cool, man.
I love that. I love it. I love that final image and shot of that movie when they're just kind of looking down at the camera. I feel like it's Tarantino telling the world that he thinks that at that time that this movie was his masterpiece.
Wow, interesting.
That's how I view it, even though it's through the character there, and he's looking down at the audience at that particular point.
I gotta watch that part. Yeah. Then. I gotta see, or maybe it's just his adoration of film in general. You know?
Well, yeah, no. And again, because it seems to me there's the Tarantino thumbprint on it. Yet for whatever reason, it feels a little bit more separated than the rest of his catalog comparatively.
Well, yeah, it's a serious period piece, and there's not really any. It's a different type.
He still has his because you did even with Django, you've got Jim Croce's I Got a Name coming on a soundtrack during that time frame, and I think he did the same thing. Well, he did do the same thing with Inglourious Bastards. There's a song that comes on there that I'm pretty positive is modern. I mean, the fucking thing. I just watched the goddamn thing, and I forget. Yeah. But it's just the way sometimes it goes, and I love that. I love how we just say, it doesn't matter if it wasn't from that time piece. I put it in my movie. This is what I'm going to do.
Sometimes it's great, and sometimes you respect it when it's a great song choice.
And
but
I know you said
you watch something.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I know you said you like Brad Pitt. I think he's fantastic in that movie.
Oh, fuck yeah. No, he is
especially
great.
When he's trying to be the Italian guy. And Eli Roth. He's actually decent in this movie. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised he didn't get a few more roles out of it.
You would think.
As well, but
here we are. The wrenching is over, right?
The wrenching in.
Yes.
It's funny though, now for whatever reason you froze on my end. I don't know if I'm frozen on your end, but that's okay. I can hear you fine. So you're recording the call, and I found out it's funny when you get the chance to kind of reflect, and I'm like, oh wait, I remember what that other side story was when I was talking earlier. You're like, man, it's not fucking interesting, but that's okay. That's my life. I love telling my wife stories, and she'll be like, what's the point of the story? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like the old Homer Simpson. But what it is I wanted to say how out of shape I actually am. What? Back at Christmas in the day, we talked about it on the show, I believe we got a Quest, which is the virtual reality system. I think that was used over the Christmas holidays and into maybe early January.
Right.
I then started getting some games that involve more motion. I'm not talking about things coming at you like Beat Saber, which is absolutely phenomenal to play. It's fun, easy, and whatever. It's 3D. It's actually, that game's a marvel to look at unto itself. But I'm talking the things like The Walking Dead And Jason Smith was just raving about it. So I'm like, I got to get this Walking Dead game. I can't play it more than 5 minutes without getting motion sickness.
Oh, no.
I get all fucked up and then I'm done for the day. So I don't know if I have to take gravel, which seems so fucking stupid to play a game, but it's just not working my way. And anything with the motion, and even if I just sit down or whatever to do, it fucks me up. So I can play mini golf, which is phenomenal. I can play Beat Saber and a handful of the other games. Anyway, one of those other games is a boxing game. Ooh. It's fucking pretty cool.
Nice.
I think the guy's like right in front of you, and you spar with them, and you try to work your way up. This thing's a workout. I actually put you could put a calorie burner and what you want your goals to be, and I just said, well, let's do moderate because I haven't worked out in so long, and you play this fighting game for like 20 minutes, and you hit your goal.
Shit.
Which is like, I don't know. I don't even know if this is a big goal, but it was a burn 100 calories.
Right.
I don't know if that's good or bad, or if moderate in the big picture. But I said, okay, burn 100 calories, put that as my goal. And 2 fights, two rounds, or no, 2 fights, because I guess they went 3 rounds of this game. And I hit that goal, and I'm feeling it. This was Friday night that I did this with Christian and I were playing because the girls were at the dress rehearsal component of their big weekend. So it was just a boys' night and we played this game. My arms here, and my chest, my upper body's in pain because of this game. That's how out of shape I am. Because you're doing this. Like you're actually trying to go full force. And if you were to watch this, you'd think that I'm utterly insane because it's just me punching into the air. And like, I probably look like an absolute tool. And now I feel it's like, I'm like, what the hell? This is what my life. But if maybe that means it's working. I'm going to go with it's working. I'm going to set more aggressive goals. And this is going to be, fuck the gym. I'm going to just play boxing and Beat Saber as my workout.
Gym? Oh.
Yeah, running a gym. Fuck the gym.
So wait
Jim
a minute.
K. I'm just kidding. No, Jim K's cool. I don't know if he's still with us.
Jim from Toronto.
Jim from Toronto's with us. Jim K's gone.
Right, exactly. So did you say you had to take some gravel in order to play a game? What are you talking about, gravel?
Oh yeah, you guys don't have that in the States. It's the brand name for oh fuck, I can't remember the drug
Dramamine?
name. Yes, thank you, Dramamine. Yes, Dramamine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Gravel?
I go to the States to CVS. I'm like, you got gravel? They're like, who said what the who now? What the fuck are you talking about, gravel?
Go to fucking Home Depot, maybe.
Assholes. Something that's not going to make me nauseous. Oh, Dramamine. And that's what it just says on the box. I'm like, oh, perfect. Thank you.
Why would they call it fucking gravel?
Not like a Gravol. So G-R-A. Again, because I say things so quickly, Gravol. But I mean, still, it's still a brand name.
Wow.
If I said Kleenex, you would have known what I'm talking about. But this brand name, it doesn't transcend to the States.
Right. Yeah, no transcendence. Right. I don't think I'm going to fucking Toronto, by the way, for Fish on August 10th because I saw this thing the other day, and it says, I'm driving at work, and I'm going on the highway to go one place to another. I forgot what the fuck I was doing. But there was like a billboard, not a billboard, one of those flashy things on the side of the road. It says,
fuck Canada?
Going to Canada, you need a can of something. I forgot what the word, but there's some type of thing I have to get. So I don't know what that is.
Oh, Arrive Can. It's an app.
What the fuck?
Right. It's a pain. I mean, I have to use it. So when we go back, I thought that was done April 1st. So when we went to that one competition that was like a stone's throw away from you. You said it was closer than I thought, but I was just like, I have no time. We were in Hamburg or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you said, oh, yeah. So when we went there, I thought I didn't have to do it. And then one of the dads was like, oh, no, you still have to do it. They didn't even ask me shit when I got to the border, but you have to do it to be on the safe side. So you got to put whoever's traveling with you, if it's you and your wife, Irene, you just put you and Irene's information in. It takes 5-10 minutes to do, and then you just say when you're going to arrive at the border. So we did it the day when I actually met you last summer. We had to do it, and I had to do it when I went to Hamburg. I don't know when they're going to erase that. It could be easily erased by August 10th, but if not, it's an app, free app, and you just fill in the information.
That's
very
all
simple.
It is. Yeah. Arrive Can. I think I also have to get a passport because I have the enhanced license, which is supposed to be able to get you over. But
well, that's what Scott had. So check with Scott because he said that's what got him over both times, I believe. I didn't see him the second time because that was when I got COVID. But I mean, I think that's all he has. So yeah, this enhanced driver's license, I don't know what the fuck it is, but supposedly gets you across the border. And if you're under 16, again, for Canadians, if you're under 16, your birth certificate gets you across the border if you're driving. But if you're flying, you need a passport. No question.
Okay. No, that's fine. Then so maybe I still will go. I saw that Arrive can and I got fucking bugged out. I'm like, what the fuck is this now?
It's just that I got it on my phone. It's not as big of a hoop as you think. It's a very It's more of a nuisance if anything, but it's not a long. It will take you like 15 minutes maybe tops.
Oh no sweat.
Arrive can app. That's what it is. And I've got my kids' information in it already. So like I just have to bring it up. Like it says. Settings or resources, Arrive, or start form. If I log into it, it will bring up everybody's information. So I'm already in the system. I don't know how long they're going to do this for though. It does seem a little antiquated already, considering I feel like we're pushing forward from this, and by August 10th it could be gone.
Maybe we'll see. But it's okay. Maybe I still will go then. As it stands now, August 2nd is my birthday. They're going to be in Ohio. I'm going to Ohio. And my friends are meeting me there from Vegas. They're coming the fuck over. It's my 50th. They want to fucking, so now it's a big thing. So they're going to come out there. They're going to meet me in Ohio. Then Fish is playing in Michigan the next day. So we're going to do both shows. We're going to stay in a fucking hotel. All right. Okay, and then we're going to rent a car.
Groupie, whatever the hell you are.
Yeah, dude. Go to Michigan, see fucking Fish in Michigan, and then fucking come back. I might take the whole fucking week off. So if I'm going to see him twice on the 2nd and the 3rd, maybe I still will go on the 10th, though. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. So, anyway, that's what's going on there because we started talking about it seriously yesterday. I'm like, you know what? And the thing is with my wife, I don't know if she's going to be there because with her schedule going to be what it is, we don't know when she works and when she doesn't work and what's going to happen. And I might get flight benefits by then, too, from her, but I don't know. So, she has her final exam is tomorrow. They have 48 people got there. I think 7 or 8 are gone. Discharged or quit, and tomorrow is the final, and then she should be good, and then she'll be has to do other stuff during the week. Then she goes home for 5 days, and then she goes and the job starts, man. Southwest.
So she might be working, so you don't know. And you wouldn't be coming by yourself, or would you come with Frankie?
I would come by myself or with Frankie. I don't care. Well, I'm meeting my friends there, so what do I care?
Oh, but the Toronto one. Would they be coming to Toronto too?
I would go alone or I'd probably bring Frankie if she couldn't come to that one. You know, fuck it.
Well, then depending on your timing, you got to stop by because you literally, there's no way that you wouldn't be driving past us unless you're saying you're coming. No, because you wouldn't be coming from Detroit at that point, or Michigan. You'd be coming from
right
North
here.
Tonawanda.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
There's no question you'd be passing right
That'd
through.
Be great.
I could just wait for you at the highway if need be.
Yeah, we'll come visit. We'll come hang out for a few. It's summertime. The kids aren't doing shit.
Yeah, I'll let you mow my lawn for me.
Yeah. Hey, I just got my lawnmower back. Maybe I have it now. I can start doing my own lawn instead of fucking paying people to do it. But that's a whole other story. We've talked enough about everything. Let me tell you. Oh, it's 11/11. It's a big deal. So what was I going to tell
you? June 5th.
June 5th. Yeah, on June 5th. So have you been watching anything? Because all I've been watching, this is what I'm doing, because I'm doing the 1980 show with 22 shots. And I've done this. I want to watch 80 movies from 1980. So I figured out my schedule. If I watch 2 movies from 1980 a week for the next however until we record the show, it'll lead right into the fucking show based on when we're supposed to be recording it. So now I am watching, I'll watch 3 movies from 2022, and then I'll watch a 1980. And then I'll just repeat. So all I'm doing is watching 2022 movies in a 1980. And
I'm way behind. I've got 17 movies of 20. I haven't really upped the ante since I think we talked about it the last time. Really, I watched that Scary of 61st, which you liked. I think you said.
I did like it, and I'm going to tell you something about. There are like 1, 2, 3, 4. The last 5 movies I watched, I liked them all, and at the same time, I am going to have trouble recommending them. So it's either just me, and modern movies are just my taste of film and things that are happening in the movies, and the subject matter is working for me in a way where it's not working for others. So I'm like afraid almost to recommend anything at this point. Because like the other day in chat, Mood said, he goes, I think you just like because we were talking about movies in 2022s and this and that, and we were talking about the 1980s stuff, and I was talking about 2022s, and I was like, I've only seen, and I'll tell you the same thing. How many movies have I seen? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 20 movies. And of those 20 movies, only 2 of them are below a 7. And even at that, I gave them a 6.5. So I'm doing pretty fucking good here. And he goes, man, he goes, what are you watching? I want to watch what you're watching. So I'm telling him, and I said, yeah, I saw this, and I saw C for Me. I saw We're Going to the World's Fair. I saw this and this. And he goes, oh no, those movies are fucking. Those movies aren't good. He goes, I think you like modern movies more than everybody else. And I said, well, I don't think I love modern movies more than fucking Mark Nato and Scott. I'll tell you that. I just don't. I don't rate them all just because I'm giving something a 7 or a 7.5. Maybe modern movies are just more my. I don't know what to say. But okay, the Scary the 61st movie. Okay, I will tell you this. I think me not having knowledge of politics helps me in this movie. I think people are going to go into this movie because there's political talk, a lot of it, about that. What's his name? And it shouldn't be political, and I don't understand why it is. That fucking cat with that molested kids or whatever the fuck he did. He took people to rape kids or some shit. Anyway, that guy, I don't know why it's political, and they even have a discussion in the movie because I don't fucking care. But they even have discussions in the movie. And I remember when this guy died, people online were bickering about whether he committed suicide or whether he was killed. And I don't understand why the fuck it matters to people how the guy died and why it's a big deal. To me, it's fucking ridiculous. But the conversations like that happened in the movie. So I'm thinking, me not knowing what's going on politically, and I think that adds to my benefit because I think too many people have viewpoints about it already. So when they go into the movie and they hear people discussing it, or they think, oh, well, it's trivial because of this and because, the way I feel about fucking, what's his name? The guy
Jeffrey
from
Epstein.
Yeah, I was going to say the guy from Welcome Back, Kotter. Epstein. Yes. Yeah. Because remember, when I heard the name Epstein, for the day that guy died, people were talking about Epstein's dead. I didn't know who the fuck it was. People kept saying it on Facebook. So I put up a picture of fucking Juan Epstein from fucking, and I said R.I.P. From fucking Welcome Back, Kotter. Anyway. So anyway,
I'm glad.
It was creepy.
That was like the last one. I still haven't watched The Sadness. I'm so behind because I'm trying to it's not that I don't want to watch them. It's like I guess we had this discussion. It's like finding the time to make sure I don't feel like I'm gonna get derailed from watching it. And every time I feel like I could watch it, Christian's there or whatever, and I'm like, well, it's not for him to watch. I gotta wait. Well. So then, and he doesn't like anything too gory. He doesn't mind a horror movie, but if it gets too bloody, and I remember being like that. But before I was a gore hound, the sight of blood, a needle injection or blood, would freak me out. Actually, that answers one of the questions I think we had from one of the listeners. But we'll get to that after. So, like I said, I've been doing more the Tarantino thing. So I watched Reservoir Dogs, Death Proof, Inglourious Bastards again. I watched the Ricky Gervais special, the Supernature one that got released on Netflix, and Midsummer. I cracked open that I had already opened that beautiful one I got.
Oh, you lucky dog.
Put it in because Carrie never watched it, and we finally watched it. Carrie, Jocelyn, and I watched it again because we had time to kill, and Carrie loved it. She was like, "This is like just blew her away." And nice. I've watched it so many times. I think I used to give it a 9.5. I've upped it to a 10 as well. So it's just phenomenal. Awesome. That version of it is fantastic. I love the packaging and everything like we've talked about. What I can't understand is I don't think it has any special features. And I think the regular Blu-ray or whatever does. I don't think there's a lot. I don't think there's an audio commentary. But
right, there's not.
There's no top menu. It literally just plays the movie, which is fine, and that's all you need. But I think there was one or two special features that I was trying to look up, like the Bear promo and something manifesting Midsummer or Summer Festivities. Neither of those, unless I'm mistaken, are on this version of the movie, which I thought was odd.
Yeah, that is odd. We're kind of losing that now with the 4K thing, unless they're from boutique labels, although Midsommar should have been from one. I don't know who put it out. Was it Arrow?
Oh no, it's A24. It's directly from
No,
them.
no. Who put out the disc, the 4K, the packaging? Who gave it the special treatment? Usually those are the ones responsible for a special.
No. I mean, I honestly think it was. I mean, I bought the only place you could buy it is from A24.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I think it was specifically their special package.
Oh, I can still get this. You're telling me? Because I think I looked for it when I got my new credit card.
There's two different ones. So there's one. I think there was one that came out in like a steel book or whatever. And some people are trying to sell it for ridiculous prices on eBay. And you could just go to A24 and still buy it.
I gotta find it then.
Yeah. Like I was just on the site and I don't know why I got off. If it's a bear with me here. I'm gonna jump back on it.
No worries.
You don't have to spend an arm and a fucking leg. I don't know why.
Okay.
Like go $45 American.
That's it?
In the standard version or the 4K version.
I want the 4K.
American. Yeah.
I have the other ones.
That's what I got, but it doesn't have any. Again, unless I'm mistaken, there's no other features on it. It just has the movie.
Okay.
The 5.1 DTS HD audio.
I gotta buy it.
Widescreen presentation. That the director's cut only.
It wasn't on Amazon. I couldn't find it on Amazon when I looked because I think I told you this.
You have to buy it through A24 directly, and some people said that their shipping took a long. I didn't find their shipping took drastically long or anything. So you order it, you just go to their site, you go Midsummer. I'm looking at it right now, $45 American plus shipping, but you might get a deal because you're in the States. In the States, you guys typically get deals when it comes to shipping. I had to pay shipping because I was going to get the Hereditary script, like it's a bounded, like a hardcover script.
Oh, nice.
But it was expensive as well, and the shipping jumped up, so I just went for the Midsummer when I ordered it way back when.
Wow.
So yeah, it's still available, and eBay's trying to sell it for like 150. So like, be smart about it. It's right there, ready to purchase.
See, if you listen to this, hopefully now you know. Now I got it's the one that's got it's that cool book looking thing. It's
it's upstairs.
It's fucking badass.
Show it to you. Yeah. You pick it out. It's bounded. I thought there was a mistake, and then like because again, like you open it up, and I'm like, well, why does that look like the seams broken? But they are trying to like, I think Brandon mentioned it when we were talking about it on the show that they're trying to make it look like it was hand bound.
Got it.
Like whatever. So like the binding is really cool. So like it's cool because it's got like all the art pieces in it. That's what the big booklet is.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get on it though.
Yeah.
I have the credit card, so that's what I'm gonna use it for. I buy something and I pay it off. I buy some. It's just I'm just keep building my credit. So and it's working. My score just went up again. I'm almost officially good after all this time, which is fine. So that's what I'm gonna do. We watched Friday night when I had the guys here. I showed them the house that Jack built because there's like 4 movies that we never have time to watch because they're 2.5 hour movies. So we happened to have an early start. I said, well, tonight's one of those nights we have the time. You guys want to watch one? And I proposed to them. I go, here's the 4. I said, Brimstone, House That Jack Built, Dr. Sleep, and Suspiria. And first they chose Dr. Sleep, and then I put it in. But Scott, I showed it to him before. He forgot that was the title. And the mic said, well, Scott's seen it before. Let's watch some. I said, okay, House That Jack Built. So we put that, and they fucking both loved it. 2.5 hours, they loved it. So and now I got into a conversation with them about Lars von Trier, and now they want to see his movies, all like me. They want to see all his shit now. I'm like, holy fuck. So anyway, that was really cool. Everything I've shown them, they've liked. Like any artsy thing, anything from the 2010s that I had rated high. That, like I always say, it's sometimes difficult to push them on people because some people hate them. They've liked them all. They like The Witch. They like fucking Hereditary. They like everything I've fucking shown them from the 2010s. And it's been a lot. We watched Terrifier just a couple weeks ago, and they love that too. So, I mean, they still like that shit. But, I mean, I'm just glad that they are like me, where they can still appreciate the fucking old school shit, but like the fucking new epic fucking, I'm going to use the term, but the elevated horror, if you will, the dirty horror. But, I mean, so what? I mean, they like it. So that's fine with me. But, okay, let me just say, this is what I've watched recently. I've watched We're All Going to the World's Fair. Tough to recommend, but the way I interpreted it at the end and the way I'm thinking about it, I'm like, holy fuck, that's really cool. Scary of 61st, same thing. All My Friends Hate Me, You Won't Be Alone, and Dashcam, which came out just a couple days ago.
I was going to ask you if you watched it. Okay. Because I've heard mixed. Sorry, I've just heard mixed shit, so I'm interested to hear what you said. I'll let you talk. Sorry.
It's the same thing, though, dude. It's like all those 5 movies that I just said. I can't
Excuse me.
recommend. I can't fucking say, I like them. I'll give them this rating or whatever. And I'll tell you this, there are only 2 movies. There's no 9s or 10s, okay? There are 2 movies that I gave an 8.5 for this year. That is it. Everything else is a 7 or a 7.5, couple 6.5, and like maybe 2 or 3/8. So for the most part, these are just good movies. They're fine, but it's tough for me to recommend them. Now, Dashcam could have been great. You won't like it because you won't like the lead character.
And that's what Jason Smith said. She said she's so fucking annoying that it took her. And he goes, he usually doesn't have a problem with this, and he did with this one, and it took him right out of the movie.
See, you didn't take me, because to me that's a real person. Again, there's many people I know like this, especially this girl who is an anti-vaxxer and anti-masker, and she leaves the States and goes over there, so that ties into shit. But she has a show. But so there is some political talk in it, and she gets, obviously, and she's against liberals, and so she does spew her shit. And yes, some of the stuff she does is annoying, but you know what? There are people like this. And even some of the dialogue she says when she gets scared is a little annoying and a little off-putting. But I still like her sense of humor in many other things, and she does some other stuff which I like. So I don't mind it, because to me I would rather watch a movie with somebody that has these characteristics than a regular character, if you will, sometimes. Because to me,
well, that's a character though. Like that, I understand that, but I heard she is not good. I think it's almost like she's a bad actress. Is that not?
I didn't notice that,
okay.
But I never do. I never do though. Look at me.
That's, I guess, I don't have the problem with the character thing. I heard it was ill-timed jokes, ill-timed humor. Now, just tell me this.
A little,
is it,
because
is
she
it
would
a
say, "Oh my God."
length?
No, hour 19.
Okay, but because like Host was only 50 minutes, like 50 or 55 minutes.
Yeah,
I just didn't know if they actually so they went a full feature this time. Okay.
But dude, for me, loving found footage, it's like that movie Spree, where the guy's doing the thing, you can see all the comments, and all the comments are fucking legit. They really are how people would be talking. I like that aspect of it. I like the things that are going down. I could take or leave. The acting, see, again, when it comes to found footage, that adds to the realism of it. I'm supposed to be watching somebody vlog on fucking a thing. To me, that makes it more realistic when they're not fucking giving these stellar performances. But that's just how I feel about it. It just seems more realistic that way. Like, because people are even watching it saying, "Oh, this is fake. That blood's fake." But dude, there are like 5 or 6 gags in this movie that are fucking solid, fucking found footage gags. Shit they do. I'm like, they could have taken some of these gags. And I'm not gonna be one of these people that are gonna say, "Oh, this would have worked better as a short or an anthology thing." Part of me wants to say that, because some of the stuff that does happen. They do say that. A lot of people will probably say that. I've heard it many times. I still like the story here, so I'm not going to say that. But you know, the third act of that one VHS and the first one, when they go to that haunted house and all kinds of shit's going on and everything else, and it's fucking great. Like the climax of this movie, you see a lot of that happening again. Not like that, not ghostly, but different stuff. And again, it's not explained what's going on either. And I'm okay with that. To me, that seems more realistic. If you're going to make a found footage movie and you're a person stumbling upon things in real life, you don't find out the reason that evil is there, do you? In a movie, yes, normal in a movie. And that's just it. I'm not one of these people that needs the fucking script narrative to be first act, second act, third act, build up, character arc, this and that. We've been making movies for fucking hundreds of years. Same thing with music. I don't need fucking verse, fucking chorus, guitar solo, verse, chorus, fucking end. I don't need that. I am tired of the fucking same story format all the time. So I think a lot of people, when things stray from that, they go, "Oh, wow, I don't like this character, and there's no arc, and there's none of this, and there's none of that, so I don't like the movie." I think it's very close-minded for people to fucking think that way, but just my opinion. I just took this movie. If I didn't like anything about the movie, I would tell you. But I'm not saying it blew me away. I'll just say it's a 7.5, okay? It didn't blow me away, but I will say this. It could have been great. It could have been an 8.5 or a 9 with a couple of fucking tweaks here and there. Because the gags were really good, the special effects, the shit they did. One of my problems was she kept escaping danger again and again and again in the third act, and you don't really know how and why, because there's a lot of shaky cam stuff, which in that third act, which I know a lot of people aren't going to like, but that adds to the realism of it, and that's how it would look. That is why I like found footage, because this is how it would play out. I don't care if you're used to a regular narrative.
I got to check it out. There's no question.
You're not gonna like
And it's okay. I watched Rucker and I watched a few other ones. That and Rucker actually is not even the worst of the lot. Like a lot of people shit on that one, and that was more passable than a few of the other ones that I've watched.
Dude,
but
really,
yeah.
I intentionally skipped it. You know, I have my fucking method, so I have everything out there. It didn't make my cut. The only two movies that were 6.5.
It's not a good movie. Yeah.
Okay, Firestarter and fucking Barbarians. Those are my two lowest movies, and they're 6.5. And the first Firestarter is like a 6.5 for me. So I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear people talking about, oh wow, it's a remake, I'm not gonna watch. Well, the first one wasn't good anyway. When do you hear people fucking blowing fucking Firestarter? Never. Nobody talks highly about Firestarter. Maybe if in nostalgia they saw it on HBO a lot as a kid. Fine, but this girl here, I happen to like this girl that plays her because she was in the last season of American Horror Story, and she played a badass girl in that, and I liked her there. So I was already a fan of her going into it, and she nailed it again. And it's just a short story. This is something that happened over this course, and it's not special, but it's not a shit. This is the kind of movie that people are gonna fucking give like 1 star. Well, that's the problem. People do this, and it bothers me. Like they're gonna say that fucking the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like, you're gonna really, did I mention this last show? Like it's like a 1.9 or the other one's I'm like, dude, you're just being unfair because of fucking, it's a franchise film.
Well, that's what ratings do. Like, I mean, ultimately, it's the discussion. That's why, like, we always like we'll talk, and we sometimes throw a rating out, and people are like, where the fuck did that rating come from? Just based on your discussion or whatever. It's interesting, but no, I'll check it out. I mean, I'm gonna get to all the ones that are like Host. I got to eventually. There was another one that popped up on Shudder recently. It was like 2022. So I'll check out all those ones, and then I'm like the Argento, the Cronenberg, and eventually Halloween Kills. And you're saying Hellraiser is not until next year now?
I don't think it's until. No, it isn't that it's not till next year. It's that it's later on in the year. Oh yeah, which by the way, we do have to address that. Yeah, the vote came in. No summer sausage. Year of the year continues. So even though a lot of people seem to want the summer sausage, some of the thing was like they don't want to see it without Brandon because it's going to be funny because he hates franchise films. So that's one good thing. But it's like, it's okay because Hellraiser, the new one, will be out next year. So maybe next summer. We got to pair it up with something different than Tremors. Although who knows, another Tremors might come out by then. The way they fucking crank those things out now. But the vote came in. Year of the year continues, so it's nice and easy. We're pretty cool. A BS show on a couple year of the years. And
that's fine. I'm good with all that. I forgot to tell you, I only made it halfway through, but I watched half of Night of the Dribbler. It was one of those.
Oh boy.
I guess Chris A.K.A. Scott heard it when you ran it, like listing off all those 90s slashers, and it was a Canadian film, unfortunately, and it came out. It looks like it was someone's student film that they did. It's all the full movie's on YouTube, so anybody can watch it. But it's pretty damn bad. You got a character that like I think plays multiple roles in it, and the gore is pretty minimal. The dad jokes, it's pretty bad jokes as well. But it's there if anybody's curious. It's on YouTube, but it's not a recommend by any means.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that shit. Fuck. We do have to talk about that though. We had discussions afterwards about the 2010s movies that we left off, which makes it even stronger that we didn't talk about. They just weren't on that list. And what the hell were they? The Strangers Pray at Night was one of them. Yeah, right?
I brought Strangers Pray at Night.
And there was another one.
Well, while you're talking, I could probably look it up because it wasn't that long ago. Whoops. I hit my microphone.
It's okay. I was going to put up a poll. On the page about it saying, what do you guys think? Was it 90s or was it 2010s? Do you agree with us? But I wanted to make sure everybody listened to both shows before I did that. And there's a lot of new listeners that maybe have not heard them all, but, bottom line is I think it's a pretty strong case for 2010s. And adding these ones onto it is even more. There's just other ones that you're not even thinking of. Where the 90s, we really tried to stretch everything we could. In the post-screens we even gave them. I mean, it's like, we did everything we could for them, and they still continue.
I found my Strangers Night post, but I don't know where it was where you posted the other one as well. But
that's okay. There was another one though. I said one, and you said one, I think, and I forgot what they were. You might be the killer. That was it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You might be the killer. Got to sing that. But that was another one. That was a slasher, and that was meta too. And it was fun. It was good, you know?
Yeah, I enjoyed that much more on the second watch. I liked it the first watch, but the second watch was great.
Yeah, man. So we have been doing pretty good with it. That's just it. People don't think about it, but we've had our share of good slashers. There's been some shitty ones, but I mean, fuck, there's always shitty slashers out there.
It's frustrating because if you do it too close, it's just considered a ripoff and you're doing nothing new. And if you deviate too much, you get lambasted for straying away from the formula too much. So it's like walking this fine line, and you can't, like, even when I wrote my script, I tried to stay true blue. Someone got mad at me for saying true blue.
Not Baby, mad at me. I love you.
Not mad at me is an overstatement, but like mocked me. I think I said true blue way too many times in one episode. But I tried to stay close to the formula and the flow and the idea of like an 80s slasher for the script for Happy Trails. But again, but just going down that avenue, I'm like, you gotta have something more. There's got to be something more. And again, so I think I tried to give it a little bit more that I hope is explained well enough within the context of the script that it doesn't take it too far away from them as well. So I feel like you've got that nostalgia feeling, but it's nuanced for old horror fans as well as new. But nice. Again, I think the problem with the goal is that you've got to keep it flowing. And like a slasher just with kills and nothing more to it, I just don't think it will fly anymore. Nostalgia keeps us to those ones from yesteryear, or to find one that was lost, but the blood rage ones and Madman and those ones that came out of like not that they were hidden per se, but they kind of were never discussed to the same extent as like a Halloween or Friday the 13th major franchise, or the Burning or the Prowler or like those ones. Like these were like, you know, grade C slashers, if you will, or whatever. And so I feel like, you know, people will put those up on a pedestal, but will shit on modern ones.
Right. I know.
Because they're more modern. And again, maybe it's the feel, maybe it's that whatever, maybe it's the way they're shot. Because if people are going to get a point about the script for slasher, that's where I think then obviously there's got to be something there. There's got to be something to string it all together to make it all kind of work. But at the end of the day, you still are playing in the realm of a killer killing multiple people over the course of an 80 to 90 minute film.
That's all. That's all. Honestly, if you have a good kill, that's all you need. And if you can't deliver good kills, then you have to have likable characters or other things that are better. And the funny thing is, it almost seems easier to have good kills than likable characters this day and age. Because how many times do you watch movies and people complain about the characters and the dialogue? People can't stand it. There's been some movies recently where, I liked all the characters in the movie. And it was like, nice. That ends up being a plus that you enjoy the characters. I don't know why, what the cynic nature, what has happened, why everybody has to be an asshole. I mean, we see enough assholes on social media, which is one of the reasons I'm not there. And people talk, why do you have to bring that into your art too? Why can't you let it, and I know this is controversial to say, even though for years people would always say, I watch this stuff because I don't have to think about the real world. I unplug from the real world, and I enjoy my movie for a little while. Some people want context, and some people want a message in everything they watch. And some people like me, sometimes I enjoy the message, sometimes I don't think about the message, and sometimes I just unplug and want to watch some fun shit. It's a good horror movie.
And maybe the message is buried. If it's on the sleeve of the film, it could be a make or break for a lot of people. And again, especially in this age with woke and this, that, and the other thing, it's just too easy as a go-to critique. Like, this movie's so fucking woke or whatever. And then this and it's too easy to fall back on that as a criticism. So like, I mean, maybe if it's buried or if there's some subtext within the film, maybe.
But then add woke characters and things like that, which again it's like goes back to what I said before. You're pushing all these swing voters away from you. Okay, people don't want to see that shit. You know what I mean? Some people do, and that's fine. But it's like it gets on people's nerves. So even people that are in the middle and don't have any real feelings about it, but it's like okay, enough's enough. But you have that, and then you add to that unlikable characters. Now you're in a stew of fucking shit. And that's what people said about Texas Chainsaw, which really isn't true. Again, listen to that Skeleton Crew thing we did to really, that is a story about freaking tolerance. It is not about fucking being woke or this or that or these. This is by the end of the movie, you find things out. You're like, oh, okay, it's masquerading as going to be something like this, but actually, if you stick with it, you come to find out, oh, okay, so this is the reason here. And at the end of the movie, oh, okay, so maybe we can all get along. Maybe we just have to be more tolerant of each other's beliefs and why they have them. I mean, and I know that's deep for a Texas Chainsaw, but I'm just saying that's what I took out of it, you know.
And that's fine. That's good. I mean, that's great. And there are people just dismissing it again, which is just par of course, I guess, for modern film in general. But like we talked about Prom Night on the show. Prom Night, I don't think a murder happens other than the opening sequence.
For a while. That's a
and I think it's like 55, 60 minutes.
Right.
But it seems we like it. I know there's people that don't like it, but it's a classic right in the heyday, 1980, like pretty much the start of the slashers, really. Right. Like when you think about it, a handful have been out at that point, and reality is that one works, and you're really going off of maybe even confusing story element to try to wedge too many red herrings into it, but the murders don't really start until the third act, really.
And that does happen. That happens a lot nowadays, too, with things. It's all about that third act. But it is different. Prom Night is different, but I enjoy it for what it is. That's just me. I just happen to enjoy what's going on in it and the atmosphere and, but you have to have likable characters. Again, that's the problem that we have in modern movies. I don't know why. What's happened in the world where everybody wants to write about shitty characters when there's shitty people in the world? Well, I mean, is that the difference? Like I was talking last night with Watson. I go, man, in the 80s, people were happy. People were genuinely happy. Adults, too. Like, now, ever since, like, the 90s and plus, people are fucking miserable. And it's just, there's a lot of cynical stuff going out there. And,
that will get reflected in art. To just add on to what you're saying. That will get reflected. Yeah.
It will get reflected, but people watch movies for escapism. Why can't you just show normal people? Like, we're not miserable people.
Because what ended up happening is escapism, depending on, so slashers not necessarily, they were more cardboard characters, and maybe some of them relate too much on vapid characters with absolutely nothing going on.
And kids being kids.
But that's exactly it. There's a charm to that as well. Maybe vapid is too intense of a term, but like ultimately there are some movies with that. But I do like that. I do like, hey, there's no political agenda. There's no this boyfriend is fucking this girlfriend and all that. Yeah. How about it's a weekend away? And again, I think that's what I try to establish here. And I'm not saying there's nothing going on with the characters in our movie, but I just say it was focusing more on the fact I hope they come across as likable, even though there's dick and fart jokes in there and everything like that. But the whole point is, I was like, you know what I'm sick of seeing? That, like, to add dimension, and I brought this up, so again, sorry for the repeat, guys. It's just that, like, to add dimension to the characters, everybody's got to be fucking everybody, or this couple's had a rendezvous behind the scenes or whatever. I mean, it happens in that Texas Chainsaw 3D even. But I want to say, why don't we just be likable people? Friends that are friends that are going up and having a good time with one another.
Yeah, man. We have enough conflict in the movie. The conflict is the killer killing the kids. You don't need all that other stuff. Look at these 80s slashers. This is another thing that the 90s started. Okay, the 90s and the post-Scream slashers started doing things where you had to have these added dimensions. And then, the people that are for them are going to say, well, that just adds to the characters, and that's a good thing, isn't it? Why do you want simple characters? And if you want to add dimensions, don't just force them in there just to do it. It doesn't make sense. If this is an excellently written script and someone says, oh, let's have this character do this or something, in some situations, then it works really well. But for the most part, you're writing yourself into a corner. And then you have to come up with other stuff. And it became like formulaic to do this. You don't have to do that anymore.
And no matter what, depending on the realm you're working with, if it's still, since we're doing a slasher film, the critique will always be, well, it's still just a slasher film. No matter how you look at it, I'm a horror fan, and I hate that, but that's what it will be. Like, you could transcend, the script can transcend, like, maybe some people might think Scream was the script that transcended the slasher film, or whatnot, but it did push it out of the nostalgic elements. Like, there was something there, but then of course it became a little bit more, like, you got the critique then of WB actors and whatever. There's always going to be some criticism, or, oh, it's still just a slasher film or whatever. But that's what I like. I want to work in a slasher film because I love slasher films. But how do I make it so that it works? I don't think the movie's going to transcend the genre by any means. I'd be like kidding myself and everybody else to think that. The reality is, it's just supposed to be, what did I like? And what do I always complain about when we're talking about it? And right. Like, you said I made a joke about I didn't like the unlikable characters or something. It was one of my comments on TGIF 13. Yeah. And what I mean by that, though, and I guess to defend myself there, is to say, like, listen, the problem is they started doing it so that you would root for the killer, and you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy deserved it, and whatever. And I'm like, that's cheap to me. Why not make them likable? And so that you actually feel something when they die. Correct. That's it, dude. That's it. That's simple as that. And again, they said, well, maybe not everybody has to be likable. Like, probably might have had the Lou character and whatever and whatnot. But again, okay, that worked. But it became a little bit too much, like, I go to Friday 7 a lot, where you had, like, most of them were not likable characters. No, not there. Most of them at all. But then you had the absolute dick psychiatrist character. And then Melissa. So they were like elevated. You had the likable was very minute. Then you had the unlikable, which is most of the cast, and then you had two highly unlikable characters. Like, the only ones likable might have been the mom and possibly Tina. And Tina's fucking annoying too. Well, there you go, and that's why. And now I've said this before. That part 7 is a poor man's part 4. Yeah. Like, it really is. The kids at the cabin doing their party. Okay. Now in part 4, the characters are likable. Although there were some characters that were likable, but still were a little dickish. Like like the guy busting Teddy's balls about being a dead fuck. Yeah. That, okay. Lawrence Monison's character. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing great about Jimbo. That. And then, Jimbo's. Yeah. Jimbo, And the other one was Teddy. One of the two sisters was kind of bitchy, the twin, and the girl was blowing her sister off, and then again there was the girl gets mad, right? She takes out, screw you, Paulie. There were moments where, but that's real people. People do that. Everyone has fucking, nobody's. It's not black and white. Everything. Everybody has shades of gray, and that's what's good. That's realistic. But the boyfriend had a downturn moment, Paulie. He had a downturn moment and then changed his mind. And screwed it and goes, I can't do this. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And then went to get his girlfriend. So there's like a redemption there in a sense. Right. Like, and that's like what that is just, I guess, injecting a little bit of conflict and to spruce up the moment. I'm not saying this is high caliber writing by any means, but that to me makes sense as opposed to, like, having all these dark, because nowadays it would be this couple went out, all those kids went out, and 4 of them are all fucking each other behind the scenes or whatever it may be. And it just, and again, I don't know why I'm so hung up on that, but it just seems to be an easy go-to to add dimension, or seemingly add dimension. But you don't have to anymore. Like in the 2010s, this is it. When Scream came around, the slasher movie was dead. It had run its course, and then horror, almost in a way, became elevated back then in the 90s, where they became psychological thrillers and they masqueraded them as fucking, you know what I'm saying? We had and horror became the dirty word, and they started having these thriller type movies, which to me, most of them are still horror. But I mean, and they did that for a while. Then somebody said, okay, now there's still franchise films. We got to make our money here. We're going to do something with slashers because we made a lot of money last decade. Let's see what we can do with a younger crowd. We want to bring the kids back in. The kids aren't watching Silence of the Lambs and everything else. And, granted somewhere, but you know what I mean. They want to bring in the drive-in theater crowd. Let's make it a party. Let's bring slashers back. So now, okay, how are we going to do this? Okay, well, let's do a slasher and we'll play off those old tropes and we'll do this and we'll be clever. And it was clever and it was good and it worked for the time. So it kind of had to happen to bring the slasher back. Didn't really spawn anything great. It spawned some, as we've discussed, but
Then that got dead and that got passe, and here we go. Now in the 2010s, it's a free for all. Do what you want. We have seen good slashers that are reminiscent of the old one. Matter of fact, people intentionally go out and try to make an 80s slasher and set it in the 80s, so they know there's love there. Of course, they throw in dick characters when they don't need to because that's a modern thing, but not all the time. Sometimes you watch a movie, a modern slasher, and the people are likable. So now in 2022, we can bring it back to the way it was. Obviously, people have been pining for it. You know what I mean? So why not?
And here's the other thing now. And again, I was all for this until it became too much. So nostalgia has played huge on everybody. And now here, I'm not blaming Stranger Things because it's got a huge fan base and it's hugely popular. And I actually love how they do it. But Stranger Things really injected it's taking place in this time frame, and let's wedge all these things that they're going to be doing to appease to that time frame, which is fantastic. But now I don't need my slasher taking place there because you had that summer of '84, there's so many and so many more that have done that I think now that it's almost like we got to get beyond that. Like what I want is the feeling of that time frame and period, but it takes place in modern day. That's it. Because even when I was like before all the fan films came out, not all of them, because there was always fan films online for Friday the 13th, but before the Never Hike Alones and all the new ones that are getting super backing from fans, which is good. You can't fault them for that. That's great.
We should ask.
No, we're gonna have to do something to get the budget up beyond what Patreon can do, but that's a whole different discussion and show unto itself. But ultimately,
especially now since I'm being taxed for Patreon.
Yeah, well, that's where that's what I was thinking. I mean, the taxation thing is going to definitely and you do get taxed on that money as well, but that's why it's going to be a dedicated fund specifically for it. But anyway, suffice to say, beyond that, where I'm going with it is that I even forgot where I was going with it. We're talking about the fan film
crowdfunding.
And no, but that was a sidebar because of the way my mind works. But before all those fan films went, I said I had started writing a Friday the 13th script way back when. It was a remake, but a remake knowing that of the first one, knowing Pamela, it wasn't a whodunit, so to speak, because we already knew Pamela was the killer. But I wanted Pamela in it, Pamela focused for the majority of the film. And when I started doing that, I abandoned it. But when I did it, I wanted it set in the 80s. I wanted it identical. And then as time went on, I'm like, fuck that. I don't want that anymore. Like I want the feel, but I want it to be in modern day. Like, and so be it.
See, and here's the thing. I had a great idea. I want to say it's a great idea for a movie, and I was thinking about this, I don't know, like 7 years ago. Problem is the title that I had ended up being used by 2 other movies. I had an idea for a film called Final Girl. Then, of course, Final Girls came out, and then Final Girl came out. So it's a problem. But my idea was this. I was going to write a slasher where kids nowadays were making a movie. They wanted to set out and make a slasher, okay? So, and there was competition for who was going to be the final girl actually in the casting of the film, okay? And there was this whole side thing was going to come up and whatever. But basically, the movie was going to be the making of this movie. The movie wasn't going to be called Final Girl that they were making, which is going to be called some generic slasher name. Who knows, right? But during the making of the movie, of these kids trying to make a slasher, bring it back to the old school, they are going to start being picked off by an actual slasher. And that was going to be my thing. And it was going to be about the final girl. Of course, at the end, I even had I visualized the fucking scene in my head. And the final girl who did come to be actually ended up being the final girl, but got fucking killed right before it went black and the fucking goes into credits. So the final girl wasn't really, she was only the final girl for a moment. And because you never really see that. Isn't it a simple thing? Do you ever see a slasher movie and then fucking the final girl fucking escapes, right? Or you think it's the final girl. And then all of a sudden, you know, she's crawling on the ground. She's okay. She thinks the killer's dead. And then all of a sudden you hear like a twig snap. And then she turns, and you see the side of her head, and then you see a knife just come down in it. Boom! Her head falls to the ground. Credits roll. No one has done that, and it's such a simple thing. And that's what I wanted to do in my slasher. And I had all these little ideas. I constructed different scenes in my head. I didn't
feel
come
like
up
they
with
can't get out of it and they commit suicide. I did that in a student film, like a fun film that I did back in the day, where it's like everybody
nice.
died. I didn't think I could get away from the killer, so I took a gun and shot myself.
Wow, that's cool too.
In the head, and then, but it was also a ripoff of Pet Sematary and kind of those things. Because what happened was I killed the killer for killing my family, and I threw him off this dead end. Don't explain why. It was like this is how I did most of my movies, but the dead hand had some mystical factor. And he came back to life, and he came out and killed my friends. And then so then at the end, I'm like, "You're not going to get me." I shoot myself. And he's like, "Oh, you're not cheating me." And he takes me and throws my body off the dead end at the end, and that's how the movie ends. So as if I would come back, so he's able to kill me again. That was the thought process. Yet there's no there's nothing explained, which I kind of like, but it could be considered a cheat as to why is this happening at this dead end? Why would the body come back to life? What happened? But I don't know, something still, I still find that if you do the movie well enough, you might have that question, but maybe I wouldn't have that question. Like how you're like, why is this happening? But I feel like if it's done well enough and they just dance around it, I don't necessarily need that explained, as long as like the actual rules that are established that, okay, we don't know why, but for whatever reason things come back to life here, and at the end that's the final image or scene.
Okay, I don't always need that explanation. Just like I said in that movie yesterday that I watched, a dash cam. The reason all this shit is hitting the fan is never explained, and it's different stuff. It starts off with blood, then it's okay, maybe there's aliens involved, maybe it's this, is it demons? You ultimately don't really get an answer, and then at one point there's a cult thing happening. Ultimately, you don't get the answer as to why and how now and everything else. So, but again, see, I don't care because I'm taking. Yeah. This is maybe because it's found footage, I give it a pass because I feel like I am along for the ride with them, just like I would be if I was watching this girl's vlog live on YouTube or whatever the hell she was doing it. This is what's really happening. This is an hour and 19 minutes of somebody's life, and you're experiencing it. You're not going to get all the answers. So that's kind of what I kind of enjoyed. I can give it a pass. Is what in a situation like that. You're not going to find out. And you know what? I don't need to know. If they want to make a sequel or a prequel and then explain more, that's fine. But it isn't really necessary for me. I mean, it isn't a regular movie, I suppose.
Well, and again, it's all relative to how you do it. This was a 10 to 15 minute movie that I made like when I was in.
Oh, wow.
When I was 18 years old, like for school. Yeah. It was a project for school. I did it, and it's on YouTube if anyone. But anyway, you
go with it.
And then that was it. But I mean, if you were to expand upon it, you'd probably introduce something that obviously, whether it be a pet or whatever the fuck, comes to light. Like they try to get rid of it and it comes back, and then that would be maybe establish, no differently than I guess Pet Sematary. It's a direct ripoff of that philosophy. Back in the day, I realized the movies I was doing there, a lot of it was there was about 3 or 4 movies I mashed up with a few with the movies that I did in grade 11, 12, and 13, because we had grade 13, which is OEC back in the day. Like it's gone now, but back in the day there was 5 years of high school, and those were the movies I did. And it was like literally Hellraiser, Trick or Treat, and Pet Sematary. Even though I liked the idea of Pet Sematary, even though I didn't necessarily like the movie that much.
Right. No, yeah, I hear you. I understand.
Funny enough. But just that philosophy in Hellraiser, something about like just blood bringing someone back to life and everything else, even though there's more like those were the things that I really liked. But it's cool. The reason I stopped you is because your idea is really good and could be incorporated, if not in the movie that we're doing now, because we're in the rewrite phase. Although I kind of like the way it ends, it could be incorporated somehow, or as a possible, if there's ever a follow-up. Again, not to get pompous because we haven't even done one fucking movie yet. But if you ever to take the idea, that I like that thought process. Even if the whole movie wasn't about who the final girl is, it does play into it could play into the themes of the final girl, and that last shot works quite well.
People could be casting for a movie based on the real life tragedy that occurred in Happy Trails. That could be the casting for it.
Staff.
So it's almost like yeah, right. It's almost like a Grave Encounters 2 or Blair Witch, where this really happened in real life, and we're gonna do something based on it or something. That's an idea. But like a movie can still be good, but have that moment. Like everything isn't gonna be a 9. But you know what I'm saying? So I could watch a movie. And I could say, oh man, everything's great. This is on a level. This might be a 9 out of 10 for me or so. I really am digging everything that's going. And then at the end, there's a head scratchy thing, it's like what you said before, like, well, why or how? Then all of a sudden, that's gonna bring the movie down. That's how it is. That's how it works for me. Doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Just means, like I said about Dash Cam, this movie could have been a 9 if they did this, this, and this, and subtracted this, this, and this. It's right there. I don't know why they decided to do this. If I was on set or I was involved in the writing, I'd say, hey, why don't we do this? A little less of this, a little more of this. Now you got a really good movie. And so sometimes it's there, but a movie can still be good. I mean, but then again, it's like I've said before, and I know I do it just as much as anyone else does. Sometimes when you're piling on a movie, if you already don't like it, and then something ridiculous like that happens, then you just come down even more on it. You're like, well, and on top of that,
I do that.
This. How fucking stupid is that? Now, if everything else in a movie is great,
guilty.
And they do a similar thing, you might just give it a pass. You might say, well, I wish they would have done this, but whatever. It's a 7.5 or so. I still enjoy it all.
I feel like we're all guilty of that to some degree because there's movies we've talked about it. It actually when I uploaded a recent episode, I can't remember which one, it popped up and it played automatically. And I was like, I heard some of us talking about Halloween, and I was coming down on the fact you said this never burned you and whatever. I'm not going to get into it in deep again, but there are some issues. Like, although Halloween's like a really well made movie, there are still some weirdness in the geography and the situations that I've questioned. I question it. I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10 for me, but I just by watching the movie so many times, I'm like, well, wait a second here. He was around the corner the whole time. Like, where I brought up on the show where Dr. Loomis is like, here's Michael Myers' house. I'm yelling at Lonnie. Oh, I'm going to take a little walk. And here's the Myers car. Oh, he's here. Oh, he's at this house right there. It just seemed a little too convenient to get to the end of the movie.
Well, how do you know that Michael just didn't drive it fucking 2 minutes later? He was driving all day. What if he was driving in between the fucking this kill and that kill, even though they were across the street from each other? You know what I'm saying? Who's to say he didn't get in the car again, or maybe even move it intentionally to fucking to throw fucking the scent off?
Yeah, I mean, But then what I end up saying is that, but he ends up being right around the corner because Loomis comes and sees the kids there, and it's all there.
Yeah, but the Myers house isn't on the same street as the Strode house and the place Annie's babysitting, and the place that fucking
exactly. But he kind of like again the way he does it. I think he's like like we've been at the Myers house there, and he turns and he sees the car there, or it's a street over, or whatever it may be, and I'm like, it's just too convenient. And based on how they kind of set it all up. But I'm like, again, I'm nitpicking here, and this doesn't bother you because you've come up with ways to explain it in your head. But I could see a casual fan watching it or whatever, or someone going to revisit and going, wait a second here. And maybe some people won't care because, to be totally honest, I didn't give a fuck the first 10 times I watched the movie or more.
Right.
It's only based on dissecting the films the way we're doing them that I'm like we really get down to this possibly nitpicking idea. Again, 10 out of 10 movie for me. But I will throw these things out there and say, well, this happened, that happened, and whatever. Like, it seems a little too convenient.
Let me explain this now.
And I ripped that movie off too when I made my film when I was 15 years old. Total ripoff. Where the detective that it's not his doctor, it's a detective but he just shows up at the house thinking he went home after, and it just plot convenience of being able to find the killer there at the end the movie.
Shit. But okay, let me explain this about that scene in simplest human terms. Maybe he was so laser focused on finding Michael the person walking around that it didn't even register when he saw the car. That fucking he wasn't even looking for the car. He was looking for fucking evil on two legs. And this is the guy who's laser focused. I don't think he's thinking so much about a car driving around. I think he's thinking about kids in danger and fucking Michael walking around carrying a cord, doing maybe because
All fine.
that's how I am. I could pass by something every day driving on my commute, and it take me years to notice that. Oh, I never noticed that fucking sign was there or something like that because I'm focused on this driving. Maybe he's so focused on Michael that he was like, he turns and he sees, oh, what the fuck, the car? Or I don't know.
But here, I know it's true, and you explained it away when we talked about it again as well. So that's why I said I didn't want to fully jump into it. Yet we
sorry.
are. Yeah,
I never
we
thought
are. No,
about
it's
that
okay.
till now, though.
But I'm talking about how they're driving around to smoke the joint and to go to the babysitting gig, which seems like it might be in like 2 neighborhoods, 3 neighborhoods over, or the equivalent of me. Like, obviously, it's got to be in close proximity because Jamie Lee Curtis and Tommy are walking to school at one point. She goes to the Myers house. So obviously there's got to be close proximity. So I guess your argument in that episode maybe does make sense because they drive and then it becomes dusk and then it's dark.
Yeah, they're driving
and they
around.
are literally right around the corner from the house. So I guess maybe the proximity's there. And I'm just the asshole nitpicking. But ultimately that was one of the things I brought up because it always was weird that they do that just to smoke a joint to get literally a block away.
Well, hold on.
Because I just go park the car, smoke a joint, and be done with it.
Yeah, but half of the fun about getting high is fucking driving around after. You never fucking got high and cruise with your friends? That's all we used to fucking do, was smoke and drive around. So maybe they fucking catch a buzz and they're cruising around, listening to music, driving around the neighborhood, doing their fucking thing. Because you gotta remember, it was light.
We just went to a park. We always went to a park.
We did that too.
Just did it there, and then that was
we did it all. Depends if we could find a spot.
We're responsible.
We did it all. We smoked, we drove, we parked and smoked. We cruised. So it's like that. I always, and as far as movies, I always say this: if I can come up with an answer, then I can. That works for me. Then it doesn't hurt the film. If I can't come up with an answer, then it does hurt the film. If I'm watching a movie and I see, oh, this could have been written this way and it would have been a better reveal, or this would have been here, that's going to be a critique. But sometimes I watch a movie and something's happened and then something bad happens, like as far as the narrative, I'm like, why'd they do that? And then I can sit there and think about it. I go, is there a way? Let me think about this. And then I can either A, rationalize it, it fixes the movie, or B, I can't and it stays the way it is. But that's what I always do. I always try to put myself in the writer's shoes and say, is there a way? Even if something is plausible or probable, however unlikely, sometimes that can get a pass because I don't want to be unfair about what I say about movies. So I do try. So if I come down on a film, literally nothing makes fucking sense. Like, listen to me talk about Nightmare 4, and I will give you fucking concrete reasons about everything, or Halloween 4. I'll say, listen, this, and this, and you can't tell me there's an explanation here. There is no explanation. And if you can, I'll step back and I'll go, you know what? I never thought of it that way. That's acceptable. How you see me do this on the show. You or B or somebody has said something to me during a review. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to keep my ratings coming up. That made sense. True. And I just I'm trying to be that way because I don't want to be unfair, because a lot of people I think are. When I don't want to say bitch about people, but when I just make an observation about like someone watching dash cam or something, complaining about characters or this or that or certain things, I'm like, well, that's fine. That's fine for you. If you get upset because the character is this, I can't tell you. Oh, nice.
Look, Friday wanted to say hi.
Wow, nice. Nice.
He wanted to say hi. Now he's going to jump down. But he was rubbing up against my leg for me to pet him constantly. So I figured, come up. He doesn't like being picked up, though. If he wants to jump up, he'll jump up.
That's why I love cats, because they can't be manipulated. They're like smart people. If somebody walked around and decided to pick you up when you didn't want to be picked up, you wouldn't like it fucking either. You got to be in the mood for it. Cats are like people. They have to be in the mood. They're not always fucking like dogs who need fucking 24/7 fucking attention. You know what I mean? And some people love that.
It's true, though. I love my dog, though, and I always will. And I love dogs, but it's true, because if I give the cat a little bit of attention, that dog is over in a second. It's like, what about me? What about me? Get this cat out of my way. What about me? Pay attention to me.
They love that attention. And that's fine. If you are a person that wants that in your life, to always have somebody that wants your attention, I understand that can feel good. You come home from work, you don't have anything else, and there they are. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you are an asshole or you're a piece of shit or you're anything in life, the dog's not going to know. You're your best friend no matter what. So, I mean, if people don't like you, just buy a dog. Right? It's an easy
That's why
solution.
one of Norm Macdonald's best bits is if you haven't heard it, is you know who loved Hitler? His dog. And then Hitler's dog. And you could just YouTube that, and it's a great bit. It's a great bit.
See, there you go. Yeah, he didn't know. As long as he was nice to the dog, although some dogs, they're mistreated, and they still fucking are that way. You know what I mean? It does happen.
Sad.
It's fucking horrible. Anyone that hurts any fucking animal deserves fucking the worst they could get. You know, I'll say that. Even if some dogs do annoy me, I don't want to hurt the dog because in most cases it's the owner's fault. Just like with children. People talk about this. There's so many different forms of child abuse. So many. It's mental manipulation. It's this, it's that. So many things. And I blame the parents. I was talking to Watson last night. I said, listen, you and I are like, we're having these long discussions. And my daughter was involved in some of it. And I go, we're the few independent thinkers left. I go, just because Skylar, his son, and Francesca are raised by independent thinkers and can think for themselves, they are the minority the same way that we are. Everybody else, it's being raised by people. They are being raised by people that are on the right or the left or something else. And so they're fucked. They already have it in their head, and they're already going to be guided down this thing. They're not independent thinkers, so nothing's going to change. In fact, it's going to get worse because as time goes on, everyone's being forced to pick a side, and it's making matters worse. But anyway, I don't want to talk about it. It's just a discussion. Yeah, we want to do a podcast. We would love to do a podcast. Watson and I in the middle.
Called a guy on the right, podcast.
A guy over here on the right, and a person over here on the left. And have a fucking discussion, a serious fucking, and people can call in and talk. I think it could be a big hit. But we wouldn't be afraid to say what our innermost thoughts are because we're not going to say anything bad, but we're going to talk about things and try to work them out and get to the whys. I think that would be fucking great. And
First
I want to have another show.
Abortion legal up to the age of 11.
Nice.
That's the first topic.
I want to get another show
yeah.
with a black female friend and a white female friend on the show and say, listen, I'm always listening to podcasts and I'm always listening to people say, this is what we should do for black folks. This is what they want, this, that, the other thing. I go, why not get a black person on the show, a black female, and maybe listen to what she has to fucking say about things like this.
This is what the white guy wants you to have and to be able to do.
Correct. Just like the Indian thing, the I word. Like everyone I know that's a Native American, because I know Senecas, because I used to work with them, they don't give one fuck about the word Indian. They don't give a fuck. But white folks have decided.
I know. It's
see.
This is what I'm going on. This is why I don't even listen to his and hers podcast. I don't do the pronoun thing. So fuck that shit.
It's so funny, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You call her Carly and JP, I might fucking listen.
Carly and JP, that's it. Oh, shit. So we got some questions to answer, don't we? Although I don't really have any answers. That's the fucked up thing. It's hard.
I'll pick the movie. We kind of already did it, so maybe it's a cop-out. The Prey. How do you fix it? That was one of the questions, right?
Okay, thank you. Good call.
Yeah. I think we already kind of answered it, but if you need it to be in point form again, I'd say obviously you take out every goddamn wilderness shot. Thank you, Kuno, which is already done. But that doesn't fix. You gotta fix the introduction.
Dialogue.
So the backstory introduction needs to be fixed. And you said it the last show. You just said it again. Insert dialogue in those walking sequences and fix that editing snafu, as you like to say, where it just for no reason doesn't make sense. They're walking, they're sitting down, they're walking, they're under a waterfall, whatever. It's all fucked up there. And you just add one more gory death.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I maybe, because I already gave the Kuno cut, like I said, a 4 out of 10. Maybe that would give it like into that 5.56 range.
And we gave it a 2. But think about this.
Officially,
we gave it a fucking 2. We can make it 3 times better with a few simple things like that. Because let's face it, it's an easy fucking gimmick. People go into the woods, and there's a fucking guy out there who has been burned and fucking thought to have been dead.
Horny.
Right? And horny, of course. And he's got an axe. And he wants to kill kids. Or he wants to kill who comes in his fucking woods. So he does. This has been done before. It's going to be done again. It's a simple premise. You could really take something simple and add those elements you're talking about, and all of a sudden, hey, this isn't half bad. This is a serviceable slasher. You know what I mean?
One more element. He'll be Republican, and all of the kids that come into the force are Democrats. and then there you go.
Just please make sure he's a white man. Then he has to be a Caucasian male. Got to be if you're the bad guy. You know.
He's Republican and he's got an axe.
He's a white winger.
Yeah.
That could be the name of the movie. White Winger.
Yeah.
Instead of The Prey.
Is this a remake of The Prey or not? No, not really. We just took nothing from. We took more from Friday the 13th and The Tripper, and then made our movie.
Well, remember, we're modern.
Yeah.
We're adding all those elements that we just been complaining about for an hour that they don't need to be in the movie, and we're gonna put politics in the fucking. We're gonna call it White Wing.
Well,
Because honestly, if I knew it would make money, I don't have any fucking laurels and morals and all that shit. I mean, I'm not gonna, make kitty porn or something like that. Don't get me wrong. But as far as fucking,
thank you.
right, obviously, I think some things go without saying, but still, there's always that asshole saying Dave Z has no morals. He's a whore. He'll do anything for money. Not anything. There's, I would do anything for money, but I won't do that. So there's certain things I'm not gonna fucking do. Horse, right? Well, would I film a porno? Of course, if somebody came to me and said, Dave, I do it for $100.
There's nobody coming to you. But
$100 American
in that world, yeah.
Film this fucking porno. If I got a text right now from a
100 American. What if it was 100 Canadian dollars? Here's I'm on the fence. If it was 100 American, you got the full Dave.
Depends on how long the ride is for me to get there. Of course, 'cause if I come to Canada, I might burn in gas what I'm going to make for the 100.
They put you up in a Motel 6 for the night, and.
But I would do it. Here, I'm going to fuck my boyfriend. She tells me, come and film it. Oh, here's $100. Of course I would do it. Why not? Yeah. Who gives a fuck? And in the ass. Fine. Anal. Whatever you want me to
What if you had to have a mud flap? Like, that was their fetish. It's like you had to be wearing the mud flap while you're doing
That's
it.
Fine. I'll take my pants off while I film it if they want me to. I don't give a fuck. That's what I'm saying. I would do it. It's $100. So, yeah, I'd film a porno. So who gives a fuck? But, yeah. So, yes, for money, I'm going to do it. I don't know how we got to that. What were we saying about money?
Well, we're just talking about,
the White Wing. Even though I said I don't like that stuff in my movie, just like I said, people have made jokes about it and said, Dave Z hates all that fucking, well, doesn't hate. Okay. Dave Z talks shit about all that fucking goofy, stupid comedy shit in a horror movie, yet he wants to make one. Yes, because it's going to make money because fucking people like that. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean I know it's going to make money. It's like putting a Friday the 13th on your fucking on your lunchbox. Well, now it's going to sell as opposed to just being a lunchbox with nothing on it.
This is what I was getting to it, even though I was dancing around it for a different thought process at the time. But that Never Hike Alone. So the official, I don't know what happened there because they did Never Hike Alone, then Never Hike in the Snow, but now the next one coming out is Never Hike Alone 2. So I thought they were continuing the series, but whatever.
You know why though?
Why?
Because Never Hike in the Snow was a prequel.
Oh, okay. Then, well, anyway, so Never Hike Alone 2, I think they have, check the campaign, over 200,000 American dollars raised to make that.
Well, that's
movie.
fine. They deserve it because of what they did with the first one. It looked really good.
I get it, but it's still a fan film. I would be worried. I would always see. This is how mine works. I would be worried that I'm going to get sued at some point because it's still a property. We could call it whatever we want, but they're using Jason, Crystal Lake, that idea, and with the lawsuits going on, they're not trigger happy when it comes to pulling and suing people and getting this done, that at some point the shoe's going to drop and they're going to be like, you said you didn't profit from this movie, but somehow, I don't know how they do it and not take a dime from this. Because let's be honest, there's ways to prove you've profited from the movie. I don't know if Vincent DeSante made anything with being in 13 Fanboy, but he was in 13 Fanboy. Why was he in 13 Fanboy? Because he made Never Hike Alone.
Right.
And Never Hike in the Snow. So, and why would he be at a conference or a convention and possibly giving autographs? Because he made Never Hike Alone.
But that's okay. That's legal. That's okay.
Is it though? Maybe it is. Maybe that's the way to circumvent it. They didn't make money directly from that.
Correct.
But
you made a reputation for yourself.
Indirectly, they did. So again, I'm no lawyer. I don't have the attention span or the education to back that up. Well, but the reality is, I'm just saying that's how my mind works. That I'd always. So that's why like Happy Trails could be essentially Friday the 13th. But you don't have a guy in a hockey mask, and you don't have this, that, and the other thing that makes it Friday the 13th.
This is true.
You change it. But again, they knew that people wanted it, and he's not wrong. And I'm power to them. Again, I'll watch it. But if I was to make it, I'd be really worried.
Well,
I'd always be really worried.
He checked with an attorney before doing any of this stuff. And he has a good attorney, and he looked into all the legalities here and what could happen, and what he can expect to happen, and what it's going to cost him, because that's what could fuck him. Even if his lawyer tells him, "Hey, don't worry, you have the authority to do this," that doesn't mean dick when you have to go to court and your lawyer has to make appearance after appearance after appearance for you. Because I should know, I've dealt with it straight, firsthand, where with fighting for the money for this house. So the lawyer ends up going so much that anything that you may have made from the movie, or you end up freaking losing money as a result, even though you get your rights. Okay, now what? Now all the money I've given this attorney to keep going in court for me, that's what could be tricky. You got to make sure you have a really reputable attorney.
And maybe that's what they've got, because again, how does he? So what does he pay himself as an actor? Does he get paid as a director? Not making any money from the movie means you don't make any money from the movie. So $200,000 has to go just to the production, but you have to pay other actors. What if the actors are related? I think it's all taxed. I think like any campaign, it's taxed under the campaign. But because I was reading up on it really quickly, and I was like, wow, and again, power to them. But again, I would be a worrywart when it comes to like, how is this going to fuck me? I'm going to get fucked somehow. But if it's your own movie, then it's your own movie.
Right.
Cut and dry.
That's true.
More cut and dry than I think. And this is what I'm saying. Like, how do they not say, like, you go to eBay, you'll find Never Hike Alone, the Blu-ray for sale. Not maybe from them, but from fans that put money towards the campaign that got it maybe as a perk. And now they're trying to sell it for some ridiculous amount of money. Or Vengeance is the other one. And so money's being made there. And are they going to come down and get each one of them? Like, I would say, yeah, probably. At some point, they probably would. Now, would the fans be like in an uproar and go, look, you motherfuckers, you guys weren't making anything because you held it up in court. Now these guys are making movies for us, and you're fucking them, you're motherfucking them, as you would say. And I'm like, yeah, because it's their property. It's property.
And they should. Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, I think you said Jason Parker. Dave Parker. Jason Parker's.
Jason Parker.
Yeah. James, we haven't heard that name in a long time. Dave Parker, I think you said it best. He's like you're still using someone else's intellectual property to gain money to make your project. You are true. One way or the other.
Well, what about the fan
I guess it's
films?
a legal loophole.
What about the fan films? Like, okay, have you seen 13 Fanboy, by the way?
I did. I've talked about it on here. I wasn't a fan.
And I'm an idiot. Okay, yeah. Okay. It's on MB.
I think it was on here, yeah.
It was on the MB. I couldn't believe it, so I added it. But people watch it on YouTube, right? Okay, so whoever put it on YouTube, if there's commercial ads on there, so if there's some type of kickback, no?
Well, 13 Fanboy is a bit different, though. 13 Fanboy is using the fandom, like the celebrities that go to the conventions to sign autographs, and just putting them into a movie about a killer, but it doesn't have a guy wearing a Jason mask or whatever. And it's like, so okay. It's Dee Wallace and everybody else and a lot of Friday the 13th alumni. The problem with that movie is it's just the production values. The production value, don't get me wrong, it looks okay. I'm just saying it looks very video-y. I think I mentioned that they do the stupid thing of every time a celebrity like CJ Graham comes on, they have to introduce them. They go, CJ Graham from Friday the 13th. I'm like, come on, like you're pulling me out of it's a movie. So just let the movie play out. But Vincent DeSante's in that. Did he get paid for it? And why was he in it? We know why he was in it. Because he made Never Hike Alone and Never Hike in the Snow. And this is what I'm saying. I have nothing against the guy, but I'm just saying if it was me, I'd be shitting bricks because that's just the way my mind works. I'm like, when am I going to get fucking sued? When am I going to get sued for this? When is that going to happen? I was worried I was going to get sued starting my Friday the 13th TGIF 13 podcast way back when. I think I mentioned I reached out to Paramount or whoever because I didn't know where to go and said, I'm going to do this and the movie's going to be playing in the background, but it's going to be, my goal is to edit it down so you're going to hear soundtrack bites and whatever. And I was so worried I was going to get fucking sued with that. And then we realized that was nothing.
Unless you put it on YouTube and then you got problems because they got
hounds
if it's
on
video,
YouTube looking for
everything.
It's video, but people have gotten away from it because they found it's working as a way to promote. So it's like a commercial.
Right.
So maybe the thought process is Never Hike Alone would just be a great commercial to fucking promote a new Friday the 13th movie. Or it gets them to buy the box sets or the Blu-rays that they keep re-releasing ad nauseum over and over again. So maybe they're thinking we can make money based on the fact that these fan films have kept the franchise alive in a sense.
See, I think his goal is to become the director when an actual Friday the 13th is allowed to be made. That's what I always thought you would be doing if you're
Well, of course, that's why you would do it. That's why I'd make a fan film is for that. But the reality is that it could easily backfire, and they could just say, "Yeah, great fan film. Here's a subpoena, whatever." And now we're going to go with.
Not only are you not going to direct our film.
Yeah.
we want to take money from you instead of giving it to you, right?
And the new movie's called Friday the 13th, Never Hike Alone.
Imagine that. Oh, that would be fucking awesome. I would do it just to spite him. You're right. I would do it just to fucking spite him.
And again, nothing again. It's just the way my mind works. Like, so be it. Like, I mean, again, I watched both of those and enjoyed both for the most part. The first one more so than Never Hike in the Snow, which I thought was dragged out a little bit. But again, I don't know how the distribution of funds work because you make another movie, you put those funds wherever you want to put them. You're paying your actors, your sound guy, whatever it may be, you put the funds where they need to go. Never Hike Alone. If you're not profiting off of it, I don't like that you have that whole other worry to like, we're not making any money from this directly. It's a fan made film. Done. Again.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't mean to get into that, but that was.
No, that's good. That's good. Did you know that Dario Argento is acting in a fucking new movie that's coming out? That fucking, it's called, hold on, they're talking about it in our chat. And I didn't know about it till this morning. What the fuck? The movie is called, hold on. It's Gaspar Noé. Vortex. It's just fucking coming out.
Gaspar Noé, my favorite director.
You like Irreversible, right?
I've only seen half of it. I think
I remember. You turned it off during the rape scene?
No. Maybe I remember liking how the idea of it, and that's why I wanted to watch it. Because again, I love when people want to play with things. Climax just didn't work for me, and I think sometimes what happens is when a director has a track record. Like, I can say I don't like Cronenberg movies. I have no or Carpenter movies. I mentioned I didn't like Ghost of Mars, The Ward, even Children or his version of Village of the Damned, whatever. Not big fan of. Watchable, not. but that was about it. And there's misfires. And Cronenberg, I can say the same thing. I am able to separate it. I find sometimes that these directors, there are people that just can't separate it. Like, I still don't understand why people love Climax as much as they say.
I'm with you. I think it's fine. I just don't think it's a level of a Von Trier film. I will tell you that.
But I think
that's my personal preference. I don't know.
It's based on his track record. I would assume. But again, he doesn't seem to be for me. But so be it. But I'll check out again. I'm not.
Isn't that weird though?
But I will tell you, it will be difficult for me to go in with an open mind based on the fact that I'm going to be from the director of Climax. And I was not a fan of that. But I'll try to let that go.
Listen to what it is. Holy fuck. The last days of an elderly couple stricken by dementia. So obviously Dario is Argento is the fucking lead, and Francois Lebrun, Ellie, or L, whatever you want. She was born in 1944. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's him and her, and it's their fucking final days, and they're going to have dementia. That's fucking weird, huh? Who would have thought Argento acting?
Here's where I'm going to just follow, because, again, this is already a show that I'm jaded. How much of the film do you think is going to be filmed upside down? What percentage?
Well, they got dementia.
Say 10 to 15% will be upside down.
Yeah. Well, he's a lot of a cup of tea. I will tell you that. He's French, isn't he?
I think so. Not French Canadian though.
Not French Canadian. Okay. Yeah, damn it. Either way, he is a lot of people's cup of tea. They like him. A lot of his movies are highly rated on IMDb, so he is an accomplished director. I haven't seen anything except for Irreversible and Climax, the horror ones, and I know he's done others. I just haven't seen it. So who am I to say? I think Irreversible was a really well-made film, and I think Climax is actually really well-made too. In certain ways, I just wasn't 100% on board with the narrative and certain things that went down. It was fine. I liked it. I'm not blowing it. You know what I mean? I just now I'll talk for a fucking hour about Lars von Trier and fucking his capabilities as a director and everything, and I don't think he's missed yet. And he's got like fucking a couple 10s and a couple fucking 9.5s for me. So he's way up, you know, like, but that's just me. I don't know. So, but yeah, isn't that weird? Argento acting. Now it
came out. It was made last year. I guess it just hasn't been released yet.
Yeah. Well, there was a sign for it at the theater, so it shouldn't be long, because this is what David said. Has anyone seen Vortex? I was walking by the theater Friday night, in shock to see Argento's name on the poster. Wow, it's playing at 1 p.m. Oh, okay, so it is playing limited. It's just not playing. It's a limited place. You know what I'm saying? What's it called? Vortex? I wonder if it's playing out here.
Well, he had another movie. I'm telling you, man, people just love him because he had another movie that came out, I guess, earlier this year or recently, Lux Eterna. I'm probably fucking that pronunciation up.
It's in Toronto. And the closest place for me to see it is Toronto. Sorry, didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, but this other movie came out, and I guess it was filmed in 2019. It was released, whatever. And again, the first comment was like, makes no sense, has no story. And again, that's what I feel from him. But it's got a 6.9 out of 10 or something rating on IMDb because people fucking love him.
Technical aspects do matter. People love that.
I'm a sucker for that. I've said it here on the show numerous times, but it's gotta feel like it makes sense to me.
Right. I'm with you.
I guess, because I have nothing against upside down cinematography. The reality is it just didn't seem to make fucking sense to me.
Well, it was upside down because their minds were upside down, in a manner of speaking. You know what I mean? They're fucking tripped out on some shit. But I hear you. I just added to the zaniness of the experience. I could see it. If you took a tab of acid and went and saw that movie, it would probably be pretty fucking freaky. But anyway,
if I took a tab of acid and saw any movie, it'd be pretty fucking freaky.
Correct.
Yeah.
But this is kind of tailor-made for
Andy Warhol. Sleep? This is fucking crazy.
Shit, man. But yeah, it does have to make sense. And that's my problem with many movies. You know, like even Antichrist. Now I figured it out. In my mind, I figured out what that movie's about before I had problems. Last time I saw it, I was like, holy fuck, this is a fucking 10 out of 10 now. It took me the third view, and I was like, holy fuck. I always loved it, technically, but I couldn't make sense of everything. Now I believe I've cracked the code, if you will, and I'm like, okay, so this, and this, okay. And
I'm not offended by his movies. His movies intrigue me. Even if I don't fully comprehend everything there, I'm intrigued by them, and I want to watch them.
There you go.
But, again, it's me. It's a me thing because again, I see into cinema and film, but there are certain directors and their styles that just don't appeal to me. And Gasper knows one of them as of right now. But maybe I'll watch Enter the Void. Maybe I'll go actually revisit Irreversible and check out in preparation to check out Vortex.
Right. I'm interested. Argento's in it, and Noah's a good director. So, I mean, I am intrigued. That's for sure. So that first question was from John. So, he pick a film you all agree is lacking, spitball how to improve it. We did it. And we had a couple others. See, this one Drew sent to us a while back, and just didn't have time because I forgot it was sent directly. But I'm going to read this out. It's kind of funny you put the message out asking for suggestions because I was just thinking about Sundering and wondering what you guys think. This also seems easy and not super time-consuming, but are just certain things, either conceptually or specific scenes in mind, that just wig you out. And to specify more, I mean things that when you see them, they feel super real and it bugs you out. So conceptually, anything cutting tendons, especially specifically in Achilles, or teeth getting shattered or knocked out, weirded me out.
Yep.
Right, dude. I will tell you this. Okay, let me give him his examples. He gave us specific movie references: the Achilles tendon in I Saw the Devil, Pet Cemetery, House of Wax. Shit accidentally sent us trying to scroll. Oh, sorry, that's someone.
Kill Bill.
That too, yes, yeah, definitely Kill Bill. Club Dread is for a horror comedy. When she is reaching back to catch something to keep her from falling off the cliff, and she grabs the blade of the knife, and it slowly sounds down her fingers.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember
dude.
Parents? Remember Parents? The movie Parents with
I
Randy
forgot
Quaid?
that scene though. Oh,
yeah, and there's a knife that comes through, and the woman grabs it in the thing, and I still to this day, that's the scene that I remember from the movie. She grabs it, the knife gets pulled. It's anything like that.
Psycho 2.
That.
Don't you remember
exactly.
it happened in Psycho 2? She fucking stabs him, and then he grabs a knife, and his hand slide off. That's what I think.
Yes,
dude.
Exactly.
Yes.
The teeth thing is a great example. Oh my god.
The nail gun back to the head of Final Destination 3, or basically any Texas Chainsaw of someone being dropped on a meat hook. Okay, so I will tell you this. There's a couple things with me. Anything with fucking nails is really, really bad. Nails and teeth. There's that one fucking
demons.
scene. Dude, not even that. Nails. My nails being fucked up. Like you know that one movie? Oh God, what the fuck is it? Oh, that Mickey fucking film. That one that was on Masters of Horror that got banned. The fucking one, right?
That's Cigarette Burns. That's Carpenter's, right?
No. The Imprint.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! When they put those fucking wicks, they light those fucking punts, and they put them under their fucking fingernails and shit.
Yeah.
Or even that one quick thing you see in the ring when they show the video and you see like a tack or a nail going through the bottom of somebody's like finger and up through their fucking fingernail. Holy fuck. And again in the ring, when she's being dragged and her fucking nail breaks off. Anything with nails breaking off fucks me the fuck up. Just the thought of it. Oh.
Pretty much, if you put on the movie, and again, I just double checked to make sure I got the right title, Men Behind the Sun. If you put that movie on, you'll pretty much anything in that movie makes me squeamish. But the teeth things, the Achilles tendon, like getting pulled out or knocked out or whatever. Needles. When I was younger, anything needle, penetration of a needle would just wig me out.
My wife
can't
see
a perfect way to say it.
And
I hate it. It's still to this day, it still kind of bothers me. But back in the day, it always turned my head. Fly 2 was a perfect example when he did it, and I think he broke the needle off, and then the blood shot out of like the thing was stuck in his arm. I was like, that stuff. Anything with like a hole in the skin, or porous skin, or whatever. It freaks me out. Or just like there was a monster in Doctor Who that they had these like little they look like kind of giant squids, but they had these things that kind of came out of their skin, and that freaked me out. Carrie, my wife, when you put Shutter on, it would instantly go to this picture of this monster that looked like it was all made out of teeth. And she's like, "Get that off the screen!" Like it would freak her out.
That was with Channel Zero. That was from
Channel Zero. And she goes, "That's." And I'm like, yeah,
it is
that image. It's unsettling. It is, and it gets under my skin.
Yeah, dude. So wait, do you have a problem with holes, like a sponge, like those things?
No.
Jamie has fucking issues with that.
It's got to look like you see like layers going into something. Like, I mean, I used to go. We used to go to this. Even it was this art piece at the Cosmo in Vegas. It was where we always went for work, and I'd walk down the flight of stairs. And I'd look at that art piece, and it would wake me out because it would be like a piece of art that had like these indentations to show almost like a three-dimensional element. But I in my mind it looked like it was like going into skin or something like that, and it would just make me feel like unnerved. I guess it just got to me, and I hated it. Now, like anything like that would just freak me out. I can't think of it like in an actual scene in a film that right now, but anything that like porous in the skin.
How about this one? I'm gonna double dick you on this one. It's a needle and it's a fucking pore.
Double dick.
That fucking movie. I just fucking watched it not too long ago. Hold on, the drug movie with the fucking heroin.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream. Doesn't he put the fucking thing in his pore when he's in the car? That doubly fucked you. So you got a needle and a pour. Ooh.
Yeah, that seems, and then that arm, just the way that arm looks. Ugh.
How about the fucking what do you call it? Nightmare 3, when the fucking things are doing it, and he's the bullets.
That's exactly it. There's a perfect example. Nightmare 3, the actual like heroine, asking like oh, that's a perfect example. And on Nightmare 3, I used to get wigged out when she got her wrist slit.
Oh, I love
at the
that.
beginning.
And the wrist slit, yeah. Oh, that's bad.
I used to just make me like, ooh,
dude.
But you're right. The chirping heroin holes. Oh, that's a perfect example of like that.
Ugh. Dude, but anything quick, like a fucking slit wrist, even a paper cut. Even if I think about a paper cut, it fucking wigs me out. Like if someone says put up a piece of paper and do your thing against it, it fucks me up. Little things like that. Yeah, I can't look at it. And another thing, anything that's a household fucking thing wigs me out. Anything like if I'm watching a horror movie, when I see somebody take a fucking like a chef's knife, a regular big knife, or a butcher knife, if you will, and they take it and they stab somebody in the fucking stomach or this or that right in their kitchen, something about that hits a lot harder than a fucking slasher when a guy comes with an axe to your head, fucking hits somebody in the head from behind. That doesn't bother me at all because I don't think about an axe as something being in my house that everybody has in their house. Something about appliances or things that are in everybody's house that get daily use because it's so easy to fucking do it. So I see these things myself, and I think about something about it. Isn't it weird?
I think that's why I like the hunter knife as a weapon. Knowing that if you're going to do a slasher, I think you don't have to, because Scream's a perfect example that they very rarely go to a different element or device for killing. It's always a knife. But Pamela with the hunter knife. Yes, she used an axe in the face, and an arrow. I mean, but there's something just about her with slitting the throat with a knife and attacking with a knife and going with a sheath and whatever. Like it's just, you're right. There's something just more human about it, I guess.
Yeah,
it's human and it's got a knife.
That's it. That's scarier than it's not human and it's got an axe.
Yeah,
it really is. That should be your tagline. It's human and it has a knife. That should be it. Fuck it, that's our movie. But that'd be great. How many people get that reference? That's amazing. Yeah. But we should put it on a VHS just so we can do that. I get a box. Oh man. So when I think of a lawnmower, and I think of like if somebody picks up a lawnmower, like fucking a brain dead alive, and he walks through and chops everybody up, that doesn't bother me at all. Okay. However, if I'm watching a movie and there's a lawnmower running on the ground and somebody lifts it up slow and puts their hand up in it slow, that'll fucking be, oh no, don't do it. I can't see it. Someone getting their fingers chopped off bothers me. But somebody fucking mowing 100 people down with a propeller from a lawnmower doesn't bother me.
Well, I mean, again, that is done more comically, and I think it's
even
grandiose.
If it was,
but
even if it wasn't comically, something about it, because I can't see anybody ever doing that in real life, where I could see anybody putting their hand up a fucking lawnmower.
True. I think that's exactly it. I mean, like take the lawnmower in Sleepaway Camp 3, even though that's still kind of funny too, but she's buried and stuck, and then she takes the lawnmower and just comes up and goes over on her. It's all the context.
What about Sinister? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Sinister,
yeah.
Bad. In Sleepaway Camp, there's a little comedy to it. Actually, that brings me to the fucking next question. This is something I was thinking about. Now, there was the other question. If you could combine different aspects of a film and a franchise to make one mega movie, what would they be? I thought that if Dawn of the Dead had the makeup of Day of the Dead, it would make number one of the franchise, in my opinion. We did mention this on the other show, but we didn't have an answer. So
we did Friday the 13th. We copped out and used Friday the 13th.
We kind of copped out.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Here's the problem. Most franchise films, in my opinion, every franchise already has a golden goose. It already has one. Like, you're not going to improve on Halloween. You're not going to improve on, in my opinion, Friday 2. You're not going to improve on Nightmare 1. You're not going to improve on Hellraiser 1. Like, to me, even if other ones had different aspects, it's hard for me. I was like, I went through all of them. Texas Chainsaw. They all have a masterpiece in there where no other movie can surpass it no matter what they do. So the only thing I thought of is if they would have taken Felissa Rose, and I don't mean this bad because I love Pamela Springsteen in 2 and 3. It was a different approach and everything else. But what if they would have had Felissa Rose in part 2 and part 3 instead? And she
still
was
with the
doing
dick or dickless?
She was
Dickless in Seattle.
Dickless in Seattle. Dickless. She was in the movie, and maybe they had the music from part one, that fucking creepy, and just had it look and feel a little more like the first one, but with her in it, and she could still go on that comic edge. That's fine. She could still give lines and stuff. I think it'd be interesting to see her do that, because when you see her real personality in real life, she is fucking bubbly and all that, and she will fucking crack wise. Where the character from part one, impossible. So to see her go from that to that is a radical difference, but I think it would be cool to have Felissa Rose doing that in those movies and have them a little bit more serious in tone. Let her wisecrack still a little. That's fine, but I think that would have made those two movies even better. And that's all I can come up with.
That's fine. That makes sense. That's a good one. It's a good one.
But it was hard to come up with something, because it's like I said, everybody has a, what are you gonna do? Did anything even work for you? Could you figure anything?
Because I mean, I took I was thinking Evil Dead series, but again, I love Evil Dead 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one, the remake. But right. Not like I have it listed or rated pretty high, but not as high as the original Sam Raimi ones. And I know you're not an Army of Darkness fan, so you would probably say take the humor out of Army of Darkness. But I'm saying if I had to do one thing, that already I love that fucking movie, but if I could take the gore from the first two and insert it in Army of Darkness, because they just have that big geyser of blood and a little bit here and there, but you take the gore from those ones and put it in Army of Darkness, then you've got the ultimate movie, which quite frankly I think they did by doing the series. I think the series really exemplifies 2 and Army of Darkness combined with the Ash versus the Evil Dead series.
That's good. Now let me ask you a question. Would you have preferred if the comedy from Evil Dead 2 was put in the fucking Evil Dead remake just the way it is right now, with the serious gore and all that other good shit? Would that have improved on the film or not?
No, because I've always said, like, I thought that, again, when remakes were happening left, right, and center, the 2 that I really wanted to see at the time were Evil Dead and Friday the 13th. Those were the 2 that I really wanted to see. This is way back when, obviously. So then and I wanted it to be a series, I said, what if they did like the original Evil Dead, even though I've hinted at there's comedic overtones or elements there, whether because of their amateurish nature or whatever, it's there, but just it's not the focus. It's definitely amped up later. But it felt like not necessarily Looney Tunes, but maybe Three Stooges still had an influence in some of the things that happened in the first one a bit. But ultimately, where I'm going with it is I always said, what if they just did it stark serious again, the cabin in the woods with a demonic presence? And so I kind of, that's why I think I like that one, because they did just make it serious. And now I'm interested. Is that coming up this year, Evil Dead Rise?
It's supposed to be, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, then that's another one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Okay, how about Evil Dead Remake? What if they got rid of the defibrillator scene and went with my route and said and surprised us by saying the dog was the fucking last soul and nobody thought about it, and then shit went fucking bad a different way and they took that whole defibrillator thing out?
That could have been fine. I don't know about improve it, because I think I already kind of like it, but
I don't care. People seem to hate it though, which I don't get, but.
Yeah, you mentioned that on the show too. I mean, I think either way, I'm fine with it. I think I even said that when we were talking about that series. Funny enough that we're talking about this right now, I'll bring it up then. There is a comment that was just done, I think, yesterday on that episode on YouTube, and someone who's working on, I think his name's Brandon, is working on an ultimate fan cut of all the movies. I don't know. I think he must just mean the Sam Raimi films, that he says it still comes in shorter than a Scorsese flick, but he's working on a fan edit that he would love for us to watch. He said together, but I would love to watch that. So hopefully you post a link to it. But
that would be cool.
It's just
It'd be too jarring going to Army of Darkness still, but it's still, when he lands, they could change it a different way and have it going to. They probably just cut that part out, because remember
they cut out the part 2 one and just make it the.
Just pick it up.
Yeah.
Which would be cool. That's something. That's something that will work. Yeah. So there you go. Okay, we have all those questions. So 2005 is what we're doing next, right? Next show.
Yeah.
Do you want to try to figure out what movies you want to put on the poll while we're here before we go?
No, let's do it off. Let's do it off camera because
okay, we usually do
or off show.
It's
just because it gives me a time to look at the thing, and I'm getting hungry now anyway, so it's a perfect time to sit back, and I can bring up a list and say, okay, I want, what are we going to do? Have 4?
What do we usually do?
I think we've changed it up a couple of times. We've given them, because we've got to give them like at least 3 options and then take the top 2, but I think maybe we can do 4 and just see what the top 2 come out. You pick 2, I pick 2.
I already know I want to talk about Emily Rose because I happen to love it. Sorry, Dave Parker. Yeah. Actually, a lot of people
he hates that movie?
I wouldn't say he hates, but he takes umbrage with some of the stuff,
What about Jason Parker?
A combination of fucking Jason Smith and Dave Parker, 2 fucking YouTube sensations.
No, Jason Parker is the guy that did Friday the 13th franchise. Remember, he was I think that was him, wasn't it? Jason Parker. Because I always kept calling Jason Lloyd Jason Parker way back when. I'm almost positive.
Oh, that's what.
Remember it? Yeah, I'm almost positive that was.
It's been so long. I'm so far removed from it now. I didn't even remember. Wow.
Maybe I'm wrong because it's been so long.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But 2005, I'm very familiar with it because I did it on Summer Series.
It is him.
Yeah. It is Jason Parker. Good old JP. JP Part 2. Well, he's probably the original J. He's probably older than our JP.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Oh man.
He's legal JP. So we'll leave it here. We'll put the poll out, and we'll talk about these movies next time.
Yeah, rock and roll. We'll do it. We will do it. Okay. So I guess we'd be out. I think it was a long enough show. I think we had just enough horror talk to make it worth horror fans' while. We were all over the place, But
that's a BS show. But I think again, there's a lot to talk about.
Next time we do a BS show, I'm bringing back fucking Fangoria. That's all there is to it. It's coming back. It's got to come back a little bit here and there, as long as I don't overkill it. You know what I mean? Because I'm reading all these magazines and I'm wanting to talk about stuff. So, but we'll get there.
For sure. Sounds good, dude.
So we'll get out of here. Thanks, you guys. Love you guys. Everybody be safe. Enjoy your beautiful weather because it's here. Enjoy it while you can. And, we'll see you next show. Peace.